Chapter 2016. Ning Shu wandered around the entire Water City and got more than 200,000 faith power from Shu Bai's restaurant. Adding it all up, Ning Shu felt that he should have about 2 million faith power and more than 1 million merit points. Oh, Ning Shu laughed with his hands on his hips. Now that his wallet was full again, it couldn't be better. Although he spent money like water, he had resources. I'm smiling proudly. Ning Shu put his hands behind his back and walked towards the silver-haired man's consultation room. Ning Shu smirked. He didn't know what reason the silver-haired man would use to escape the tax this time. When he arrived at the consultation room, Ning Shu stepped over the threshold and saw two people sitting inside. One was a silver-haired man with waist-length silver hair, and the other was Tai Shu in a black trench coat. The proud expression on Ning Shu's face instantly stiffened. His body was petrified, and his hair stood on end. Even in his soul state, Ning Shu felt a chill pass from the soles of his feet to the back of his head. The feeling of extreme danger filled his brain. Tai Shu looked at Ning Shu indifferently and reached for his waist. Ning Shu saw Tai Shu touch the gun on his waist. Without thinking, he appeared outside the Water City. She was, after all, the embodiment of the law of water. Out of the Water City, Ning Shu said to 2333 in a sharp voice, "Return to the system space, return to the system space." Ning Shu felt dizzy. When he returned to the system space, he fell directly to the ground. He was clearly in a soul state, but Ning Shu didn't have the strength to get up. Scared to death. Ning Shu suddenly wanted to cry. When would such a miserable life end? He had to hide from the judge every day. She was just there to collect taxes. How could Tai Shu be there? How could it be so coincidental that he was with the silver-haired man? Ning Shu suspected that the silver-haired man didn't want to pay his taxes, so he called the judge over. When she saw the judge now, it was like a mouse seeing a cat. If she didn't hide quickly, it would be over. Just for a little tax, the silver-haired man made such a big scene? Did these people look so free? They must have been discussing something important. She was really unlucky to have bumped into them. Ning Shu was annoyed that he couldn't settle the taxes perfectly every time. There were always unruly people who owed her taxes. Fuck, wait till she constructed the world's origin. Let's see what these people can do to her. Ning Shu climbed onto the sofa and let out a long sigh. He felt stifled and scared. Just as she was about to collect taxes, the two of them secretly gathered together and did something shady. The silver-haired man was a Pishio that had no chrysanthem. They tried every means to avoid paying taxes. Fuck, I'll deal with you sooner or later. Ning Shu couldn't calm down. He simply took out some agarwood and lit it. Then, he sat cross-legged on the sofa and silently recited the mind-clearing mantra to calm down his agitated mood. Sister was astonished. It was so scary. Right? Didn't she have a black hole back then? She could hide in a black hole in an instant. Why didn't she think of that? Yes, he was too scared. The fragrance of the incense wafted out from the incense burner, making people feel happy. Ning Shu slightly recovered from her previous fear. It was equivalent to picking up another life. Fuck, she even encountered such a situation. It seemed like she had to be obedient and not run around in the future. But what about the silver-haired man's taxes? Ning Shu cursed in her heart. She always felt that the stingy silver-haired man would definitely do such a thing. What a profiteer. Ning Shu fidgeted with her hair in annoyance. She was originally happy today, but something like this happened. It made her unhappy. She definitely wouldn't let them be happy in the future. Ning Shu, who was frightened, decided to sleep. She didn't want to do missions for the time being. No amount of taxes could make up for her frightened heart. If this happened again, she would definitely explode. It was too fucking exciting. Under the influence of the incense, Ning Shu curled up on the sofa and began to sleep. However, her brows were furrowed and she didn't sleep very well. When Ning Shu opened her eyes, she could only sigh heavily. Fuck, she had to do something to relieve the fear and depression in her heart. Ning Shu pointed her finger and a black hole appeared in front of her. Ning Shu walked into the black hole. The black hole disappeared and Ning Shu disappeared. Ning Shu checked the world of reincarnation. This world was still dark and there was nothing. Only a 9-palace mountain stood in this world. Ning Shu walked into the 9-palace mountain. There were souls in the 9-palace mountain, but she didn't know if these souls could come out. Ning Shu reached out to touch the 9-palace mountain. As a result, a suction force directly sucked Ning Shu in. Ning Shu was dazed for a moment. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in a square. This space was more like a huge world. There was even a city. Some people walked past her. These people were all souls. Moreover, some of their souls were almost as strong as hers. So, these people were all souls in the 9-palace mountain? She heard that the 9-palace mountain was a cultivation world. An ancient divine sect used it to test their disciples. But this was more like a world. That was awesome. Many people revealed a shocked expression when they saw Ning Shu. They whispered, "The 9-palace mountain hasn't had a reincarnated soul for a long time. How did this person come in?" However, these people didn't rashly attack Ning Shu. "Is there anyone going to the Wind Canyon? Let's team up." A shout came from the square. "I'm not going to the Wind Canyon. The wind there is so painful. The wind blades can even cut through the soul. I want to go, but I don't dare to. The spirit replenishing fruit in the Wind Canyon is too tempting. I really want to go to the second floor, but I can't do it." Another person said. Ning Shu blinked. Could it be that the 9-palace mountain had already formed its own ecosystem? These people that had been trapped in the 9-palace mountain had already formed their own social class. Moreover, Ning Shu saw that this world didn't only have souls. There were also people. People with bodies. Souls and people lived together. These people with bodies could definitely reproduce. There were many people in the 9-palace mountain. The entire 9-palace mountain was like a world. Ning Shu couldn't help but exclaim. It seemed like this 9-palace mountain wasn't simple. "Are you going to the Wind Canyon?" A person came to Ning Shu's side. "We'll split the spirit replenishing fruit equally." Ning Shu didn't really understand the use of the spirit replenishing fruit. He asked, "What is the effect of this spirit replenishing fruit?" This man was wearing a long robe. He gave off a very simple feeling. He should be a cultivator from the ancient times. "You really don't know the effect of the spirit replenishing fruit. Even a 3-year-old child would know. The spirit replenishing fruit can strengthen the soul. However, it grows in the Wind Canyon filled with wind blades. The wind blades are very harmful to the soul. Therefore, the spirit replenishing fruit is very precious." Although the man was surprised that Ning Shu didn't know the effect of the spirit replenishing fruit, he still explained. Chapter 2017. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. It seemed like this spirit replenishing fruit was very precious. Ning Shu asked again, "Does eating this spirit replenishing fruit have any other effects other than strengthening the soul?" The man glanced at Ning Shu. He probably couldn't stand Ning Shu's clueless expression and said, "It has the effect of strengthening the soul. As long as the soul is strong enough, you can enter the second level. Only a strong soul can withstand the destruction of the spatial wind blades and enter the second level of the 9-palace mountain." Ning Shu nodded. "So that's how it is. The spirit replenishing fruit can strengthen the soul. It seems like the second level of the 9-palace mountain is more difficult to enter. Also, the 9-palace mountain seems to have 9 levels. Why do you want to go to the second level?" He finally caught someone and had to clarify things. The man's expression became even more speechless. He said, "The second level of the 9-palace mountain is bigger and there are more treasures." Nonsense. The 9-palace mountain gets smaller and smaller from the bottom to the top. Mountains are always bigger at the bottom and smaller at the top. Okay, the size seen by the naked eye isn't the real size. Even sand can become a world, let alone a mountain. The size of a mountain is based on the evolution of the world. Going to the second level is for more resources. It's just like passing the 9th level. Does it mean that you can leave after passing the 9th level? Are you a new trial disciple? The man Ning Shu asked. However, he then said, "Why are you in a soul state when you just entered? What sect are you from?" Ning Shu. "Big brother, The sects you mentioned have all been annihilated in the long river of history. When you leave, you will find that the outside world is dark and there's nothing. These people still think that you are in a trial. It seems like you can't leave without passing the level. Is the time in the Nine Palace Mountain different from the outside world? Even if you are in a soul state, you are still trapped here. Ning Shu. This Nine Palace Mountain is really mysterious. Ning Shu, I want to go home. I don't know when I can pass the 9th level. What if I can't leave? Ning Shu's man said, can you only leave after passing the 9th level? That's right. Ning Shu. Back then, the disciples who had the courage to enter the Nine Palace Mountain for training were all brave warriors. This training was like cutting off all means of retreat. Once you entered, you might not be able to leave for the rest of your life. But if you could leave, you would be invincible. By the time they got out, the world had already changed. In the cultivation world, these people could be considered ancient cultivators. If he went out now, he would find that the world had changed again. It had become a world without any signs of human habitation. I sympathize with these babies. Are you going to Wind Canyon or not? When the man saw that Ning Shu kept asking questions about whether to eat with his left or right hand, he became a little impatient. Let's go, Ning Shu said. It would be great if he could obtain the spirit-replenishing fruit. Ning Shu found that the things in the system store were pretty much all flashy things. Things that looked cool made people quite speechless. Things like the spirit-replenishing fruit were nowhere to be found. Ning Shu felt that there might be one, but he did not take it out to trade. The man sized up Ning Shu and noticed the water droplet between Ning Shu's eyebrows. He glanced at it and withdrew his gaze. Obviously, he did not recognize the law imprint. Follow me, Ning Shu said. Ning Shu followed behind him and entered a small group. This is a new member. All right, what's your name? Shu Ning. Ning Shu said. He was too lazy to think of a name, so he simply reversed his name. There were 8 people in the group. Including Ning Shu, there were 9 people. Each of them scanned Ning Shu with their eyes. Seeing that Ning Shu's soul was still tough, they did not say anything. The wind blades in Wind Canyon were very powerful. The spirit-replenishing fruit was not that easy to obtain. These people were wearing different sect uniforms. It seemed that there were quite a few sect disciples here. After finding everyone headed towards Wind Canyon. These people all took out their Dharma artifacts and stepped on them to head towards Wind Canyon. Ning Shu was speechless. You don't have a Mount Dharma artifact? Seeing Ning Shu in a daze, the man regretted letting Ning Shu join the group. It was very likely that he would be a burden. It's okay. I can fly, Ning Shu said with a grin. The man nodded. Ning Shu leaped up and flew towards the group. Fortunately, he could control his soul power. Ning Shu observed these people. These people should have failed the trial and died in Nine Palace Mountain. However, they could not come out. Since their souls could not leave Nine Palace Mountain, they could only continue cultivating in their soul state. However, the soul was not as easy to cultivate as the physical body. Therefore, they needed something like the spirit-replenishing fruit. Nine Palace Mountain was actually a world. However, because it was not connected to the world of reincarnation, the souls of those who died in Nine Palace Mountain could not leave. Humans and souls coexisted. Ning Shu's mind was filled with all kinds of thoughts as he followed the group to Wind Canyon. The scenery of Wind Canyon was very beautiful. There was a thin mist shrouding the canyon. However, the canyon was very quiet. There were no sounds of insects or birds. It was so quiet that it was a little scary. There was only the whistling of the wind. It was sometimes strong and sometimes weak. The sound was strange. Ning Shu followed behind the group and released his spiritual force to check the surroundings. However, what surprised Ning Shu was that his spiritual force seemed to be devoured by something. It was useless. You don't use your spiritual force here. Do you want to kill everyone? The man frowned. Ning Shu growled. It will trigger the wind blades in the canyon. Don't you even know this? This temper. If I had known, I wouldn't have come. I should have understood the situation first. Ning Shu walked at the back of the group, using his eyes to observe the situation around him. The wind whistled in the canyon, and Ning Shu didn't dare to be careless. Previously, he had heard people say that the wind blades could cut the soul in half. Along the way, everyone was very careful. Even the sound of their footsteps could not help but be light. It was as if there was something sleeping in the canyon and they were afraid of waking it up. It seemed very calm and there was no danger. However, as they went deeper into the canyon, everyone became more careful and more vigilant. Even the sound of their breathing was suppressed. It was as if there was a stone pressing down on his body. This kind of oppressive atmosphere made Ning Shu more and more vigilant. She did not know where the spirit-replenishing fruit grew. She could only follow the group closely. If she did not get the spirit-replenishing fruit, she would just take it as an experience. The fog in the canyon became thicker and thicker. Ning Shu saw that the others did not make a fuss about it. She suppressed the surprise in her heart. Poochie! There seemed to be the sound of cloth tearing. Endless wind blades broke out around them. These wind blades were extremely sharp and densely flew towards them. Ning Shu quickly avoided the wind blades. At this time, she must use her spiritual force to avoid the wind blades. Just read a novel. Chapter 2018. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. He didn't know where this wind blade came from. Although Ning Shu had the help of his spiritual force, the wind blade still cut off his arm. Hiss, it really hurts, as if his soul was being torn apart. Ning Shu used his spiritual force to condense his arm, but the spiritual force in his arm was gone. They hadn't found the spirit-replenishing fruit yet, but they had already lost so much. They felt like they couldn't make ends meet. Ning Shu's arm was cut off, but some people were cut off at the waist. They lost more than half of their spiritual force, and their souls immediately became thin. With such a big price to pay, they still had to find the spirit-replenishing fruit. It seemed that this spirit-replenishing fruit was really precious. Some people took out their artifacts to resist the damage of the wind blade. Braving the damage of the wind blade, everyone continued to move forward. With the help of his spiritual force, Ning Shu could know the location of these wind blades in advance. But because of the large number, it was inevitable that he would be injured. However, this couldn't stop the group from moving forward. They didn't even think about retreating. In the end, they didn't know how many wind blades they had suffered. Everyone saw a tree. This was a towering tree. Several people couldn't wrap their arms around the trunk. This tree was full of fruits. There were blue fruits and red fruits. The size of the fruits was the same as a date. Spirit-replenishing fruit. Everyone was very excited. They had finally arrived here. This was the spirit-replenishing fruit they were looking for. The spirit-replenishing fruit seemed to be very high-yielding. The fruit was heavy on the branches, and it had a fragrance. Ning Shu smelled this fragrance and almost drooled. Obviously, his soul was very coveting the spirit-replenishing fruit. Remember not to pick the blue spirit-replenishing fruit. The blue spirit-replenishing fruit is not ripe. It is highly toxic. Pick it ripe. A man, Ning Shu, said. Ning Shu nodded. Seeing that others had flown to the fruit tree, Ning Shu released his spiritual force and scanned around to see if there was any danger around. There were many spirit-replenishing fruits on the tree. The towering tree had luxuriant branches and leaves. There were many spirit-replenishing fruits. He was not afraid of these people picking them all. Seeing that there was no danger around, Ning Shu flew over to pick the spirit-replenishing fruit. Ning Shu picked the red one. The spirit-replenishing fruit in his hand felt cool and full of vitality. He didn't know what the replenishing spirit fruit tree had absorbed to be able to grow this kind of fruit. Ning Shu was picking fruits when he heard someone scream. Ning Shu hurriedly used his spiritual force to take a look. It turned out that the fruit tree had stretched out a transparent, soul-like tentacle and wrapped around the person. The souls of the people who were entangled began to dim. These transparent tentacles were actually absorbing souls. Then the entire tree stretched out dense tentacles, trying to entangle everyone. Ning Shu's hand turned into a knife, and he directly cut off the tentacle that was reaching towards him. These tentacles looked transparent and fragile, but they were very tough. Ning Shu had to cut them twice before he could cut them off. Moreover, Ning Shu felt that these tentacles were actually soul power. A tree actually had so much soul power. Let's go. Ning Shu felt that it was impossible to pick the spirit-replenishing fruit. In the beginning, the spirit-replenishing fruit tree didn't move at all in order to lower people's vigilance. Coupled with so many spirit-replenishing fruits, people's greed had blinded their minds, and they wanted to pick more fruits. For the first time, Ning Shu distanced himself from the spirit-replenishing fruit tree. He felt that this tree already had wisdom. The spirit-replenishing fruit tree's tentacles stretched out very long. Even though Ning Shu and his group had escaped, the tentacles still chased after them. Ning Shu used his soul power to condense a large knife, and he chopped at the tentacles that were reaching over. The chopped tentacles dissipated, but many more tentacles came this way. Ning Shu ran at top speed. He couldn't be entangled by the tentacles. Otherwise, he would become the spirit-replenishing fruit tree's nourishment. Previously, Ning Shu was still wondering why there was no danger around the spirit-replenishing fruit. In the end, the spirit-replenishing fruit tree was the biggest danger. When he ran to the place where the wind blades were, countless wind blades flew towards them. The wind blades brushed past Ning Shu's face, and Ning Shu's face was almost cut in half. However, it healed in an instant. It was just picking a fruit. Why was it so dangerous? He almost became the fruit tree's fertilizer. Ning Shu wasn't very afraid of being cut by the wind blades. However, Ning Shu was afraid of being entangled by the soul tentacles. Once entangled, there would be no way to escape. So far, 3 people had been entangled by the tentacles, and these tentacles directly absorbed their souls. Ning Shu felt that the spirit-replenishing fruit should be used by this tree to fish for prey. For example, people like them who hoped to obtain the spirit-replenishing fruit would be treated as prey by the spirit-replenishing fruit. Everyone ran all the way and threw out all kinds of magic tools. They ran very far away, probably beyond the maximum range of the tentacles. Therefore, the tentacles didn't reach over anymore. Ning Shu and a few people ran out of the wind canyon. Everyone's souls had become thin. They went to pick some fruits. They didn't know if they could make up for the loss of their souls. Ning Shu sat on the ground and took out a red jujube-like thing. He now understood why the spirit-replenishing fruit could strengthen the soul. It was because the spirit-replenishing fruit tree had absorbed souls, and the fruits it bore contained soul power. Ning Shu felt it a little. Although it was pure soul power and there was also life energy, it really wasn't much. Fortunately, Ning Shu had picked a lot. After picking one, he put it away. Basically, not a single one fell out. It felt really great. It wasn't in vain for him to work so hard. When he went there were 8 people. Now, there were only 5 people left. Moreover, the souls that survived had become thin. The man who had asked Ning Shu to form a team walked over. Ning Shu asked, "How many did you pick?" Ning Shu took out 5 fruits and said, "I dropped the other fruits." The man in the team took 5 fruits from Ning Shu's hand. Then, Ning Shu found that the others took out 1 or 2 fruits. Ning Shu was speechless. She took out 5 fruits and it was too much. Ning Shu didn't believe that these people only had 1 or 2 fruits. In the end, everyone divided equally. Ning Shu only got 2 fruits. Ning Shu was speechless. He had handed over 5 fruits and now he only got 2 back. Ning Shu was a little speechless. Forget it. The other 3 would be the reward for these people leading the way. Ning Shu ate the 2 fruits directly. He felt a comfortable aura and soul power enter his body. Ning Shu didn't dare to eat it before. He was afraid that the soul power inside wasn't too pure. However, it was very pure. Unfortunately, there wasn't much soul power. It was faster for her to get soul power from doing missions. However, it had another effect, which was to strengthen the soul. If an ordinary soul could be blown away by a gust of wind, eating this thing would turn it into a solidified state like tofu. Although it wasn't tough enough to break with a touch, it wouldn't be blown away by the wind. Just read a refreshing novel. Chapter 2019. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. Ning Shu ate the 2 fruits. He did not expect to gain much soul energy from the fruits. He just hoped that his soul would become stronger so that it would be easier for him to teleport between planes. The others saw that Ning Shu ate the 2 fruits in a few bites and asked in surprise, "You ate them?" Ning Shu asked in return, "Can't I eat them? Didn't they say that they could strengthen the soul?" She still wanted her soul to be invulnerable. The corners of their mouths twitched. "They didn't say that you can't eat them. It's just that these things are very precious and can be exchanged for many things." Ning Shu nodded. "Is that so? I won't eat them next time." Everyone laughed. This was not a matter of eating or not, but eating 2 fruits in a few bites. Was he not going to leave one to exchange for other survival resources? Ning Shu was at a loss. Of course, he would not tell others that he still had more. One of the people's eyes flickered and asked, "Are you a spirit replenishing fruit?" Ning Shu shook his head. "No, I picked a lot before, but they all spilled. With so many tentacles, I almost couldn't come out alive." Everyone's expression was a little sad. There were 8 people who went, but only 5 came back. It was more or less enough to bring back 5. However, this person was really honest. He took out all the fruits he had and kept some for himself. Actually, there were people who wanted to be cannon fodder to give the others enough time to escape. They did not expect this woman to come back alive. Ning Shu could not help but sigh. She wanted to leave through 9 Palace Mountain. It seemed that she could not leave until she reached the 9th level of the trial. Oh my God! There were so many talented people who hadn't made it out yet. She didn't know when she would be able to make it out. Moreover, she still had to do missions and take care of Water City. She still had to collect taxes. Who knew how long she would stay in here? Ning Shu's heart was crumbling. Everyone returned to the city. The world of the first level of the 9 Palace Mountain was not small. It was about the size of a plane. There were many trial disciples. There were some disciples who couldn't leave after entering this place, so they decided to give birth to their children here. They might as well continue to reproduce in this space, not intending to leave. Furthermore, being able to live again after death meant that there were better things than this. As a result, there were many people on 9 Palace Mountain. Ning Shu returned to the square and stood at the place where she had appeared before. How was she going to go back? Ning Shu scratched his head. Could it be that she really couldn't get out? Get out, get out. Ning Shu tapped with his finger and a black hole appeared before him. Ning Shu walked into the black hole and Ning Shu disappeared. This black hole was basically Ning Shu. Fortunately, Ning Shu came out of it. In front of him was the towering 9 Palace Mountain. Perhaps he could visit the 9 Palace Mountain when he was free. There were 9 levels of the world. Ning Shu came out of the black hole and returned to the system space. He took out a bunch of red jujube-like fruits and sat on the sofa. As he munched on the fruits, he opened the chat system and asked Mei Ziqing, "Are you there?" Mei Ziqing, "No." "All right, I have something to ask of you. Can you go to the consultation room and see if the judge is still there?" Ning Shu asked Mei Ziqing. "Go and take a look. I'll give you something good to eat." Mei Ziqing, "What good things do I need?" Ning Shu took out 2 fruits. One for Mei Ziqing and the other for Xiaohua. He waited for Mei Ziqing's reply. After a while, Mei Ziqing replied, "No. But this guy is too greedy. I just went in for a while and he took 5 of my points. That's tens of millions of points." Ning Shu knew that Mei Ziqing was talking about the silver-haired guy. This guy would take advantage of anyone he saw. It would be a waste if he didn't take advantage of him. He wondered how much tax this guy had collected. Probably no one would visit him if he was so greedy. But since he was so greedy, he should have collected a lot of taxes. Ning Shu was a little worried. Is he really not there? Look around. What if he's hiding somewhere? I'm talking about a possibility. Mei Ziqing. But fuck off. Is the judge so wretched that he would hide and wait for you? Alright, she was thinking too much. Ning Shu said, "Leave me at the door of the consultation room." Ning Shu was a little dizzy when he appeared at the door of the consultation room. When he saw the signboard, he wanted to smash it. He couldn't control himself at all. Mei Ziqing was waiting for Ning Shu at the door. When she saw Ning Shu, she asked, "Where's the thing you gave me?" "Here, don't say I didn't miss you." Ning Shu gave the fruits to Mei Ziqing and Xiaohua. Xiaohua smiled and thanked Ning Shu, revealing his little canine teeth. He looked very cute and sunny. I'll go to the restaurant. You can come find us later. We can't stay in this kind of shady shop. Mei Ziqing pulled Xiaohua and ran. She was afraid that they would be blackmailed if they stood on this street for a while. Ning Shu stood at the door of the consultation room, looking around. There didn't seem to be any judge, but Ning Shu still didn't dare to enter. Damn, she was such a coward. If the judge came out, she would run faster. Who knew what these two people were doing in the room? The silver-haired man closed the book in his hand and said to Ning Shu in a reserved and elegant manner, "Please come in." He was like an ancient aristocrat, but he was too greedy. Ning Shu sat on the doorstep and rested his face on his hand. "I'll just sit here. Even if you sit on the doorstep, I'll still charge you." "What do you want to know?" the silver-haired man asked. Ning Shu laughed. "I'm here to collect taxes. Please pay the taxes." The silver-haired man was silent for a moment. Ning Shu sneered in his heart. "This time, I won't let you escape the taxes." Ning Shu felt that he had a hard life. Every time he had to pay taxes, he had to worry so much. Asking these people to pay taxes was like asking them to pay back money. The one who borrowed money was the boss. "How's the construction of your world?" the silver-haired man asked Ning Shu. "Thank you for your concern. It's pretty good. Please pay the taxes," Ning Shu said expressionlessly. "I'm fucking scared." Even though Ning Shu was talking to the silver-haired man, his body was tense and he looked around. What if the judge appeared again? Ning Shu felt that the silver-haired man and the judge were good friends for life. He had already seen the Tai Shu appear here twice. I told you last time, right? Every constructed world has to have a reincarnation cycle. Every constructed world has to have a reincarnation cycle, the silver-haired man said calmly. Ning Shu, I'm not listening. Please collect the taxes, the silver-haired man said. Why was it so difficult to get the silver-haired man to pay? Was he so poor that he couldn't eat? Did he have to be like this? Moreover, the silver-haired man was someone who had constructed a world. He shouldn't be so poor. Just read a novel. Chapter 2020. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack, but the silver-haired man refused to give him any taxes. He just kept deducting. Ning Shu just wanted to take the money and run away. Every second he stayed here was another second of torture. Ning Shu was really afraid that the judge would suddenly jump out and kill him. Damn it, couldn't he be more considerate of his anxiety? Ning Shu really wanted to strangle the silver-haired man and strangle this bastard to death. Give me the money, give me the money, give me the money, Ning Shu said directly. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm here to ask for money. Ever since he became shameless, he felt much more relaxed. The silver-haired man looked at Ning Shu. Don't be impatient. Of course I'm impatient. You're not the one who wants to die. Ning Shu was a little impatient. If you think I'm impatient, you don't have to open a consultation office here. That way, I won't ask you for taxes in the future. I said don't be impatient. I guarantee that it's worth exchanging taxes for information, the silver-haired man said. Ning Shu was speechless. I don't want to exchange. Give me the money. Ning Shu felt as if he had grown thorns all over his body. He was very uncomfortable. To put it bluntly, he was afraid that the judge would suddenly jump out. The silver-haired man looked at Ning Shu silently. His two pale fingers overlapped. He looked at Ning Shu like a monkey, scratching his ears and cheeks. Ning Shu, fuck, why was it so difficult to get some taxes? In the future, every cent had to be spent on the blade. Thinking about the tearful process of collecting taxes, Ning Shu only wanted to say, "You're making me uncomfortable now. Don't blame me for finding trouble for you in the future. I don't believe that you won't have anything to ask of me in the future." Ning Shu sat on the doorstep and looked at the silver-haired man expressionlessly. Neither of them spoke. The silver-haired man spoke first. I'll charge you for the time you're here. I'm here to collect money, not to consult. Ning Shu rolled his eyes. You'll be charged by the time you enter this place, the silver-haired man said. Do you want to exchange information with taxes? Ning Shu was speechless. The silver-haired man ignored the sneering Ning Shu and went straight to the point. Every mission taker who wants to build a world needs to connect to the world of samsara. You should know this, right? If you succeed in building a world and connect to the world of samsara of His Excellency, only then can it be considered a world. Moreover, it must be a world with living creatures, understand? Ning Shu, not really. The silver-haired man glanced at Ning Shu and continued, in other words, the world you construct is the same as the billions of planes. It has to be connected to the world of reincarnation of the Abyssal Prefect. Only then can living beings be reincarnated. There is life and death. Ning Shu replied with an "oh" and asked, is the world you built together with the world of samsara of His Excellency? The silver-haired man nodded. The world of samsara is also born from the sea of law. It has the same number of planes as the billions of planes. Yin and yang, the existence of the world of samsara allows living beings to live and die and reincarnate. Ning Shu's eyes turned and asked, is His Excellency the person in charge of the world of samsara? Yes, he lives in Chang and dies in Mount Tai. Ordinary people call him Lord of Mount Tai. The silver-haired man would answer whatever Ning Shu asked. Wasn't Lord of Mount Tai the mountain god of Mount Tai? Alright, some things shouldn't be taken too seriously. This kind of information is also worth the taxes. Don't forget, you still owe me 3 free questions. There's only one left now. Ning Shu said with a smirk. I can give you the contact of His Excellency. The silver-haired man said, once the world is built and there are living beings, connect it to the world of samsara. No need, because I have already built the world of samsara. Ning Shu stretched out his hand, give me the money, I don't need the information you gave me at all. The silver-haired man raised his eyebrows, you built the world of samsara? Ning Shu nodded, so give me the money. Ning Shu was really afraid that the judge would suddenly appear. The silver-haired man said, come in, no one can do anything to you. No, the air at the door is better. It's easy to say, you're not the one being hunted. The silver-haired man threw a piece of paper to Ning Shu. Ning Shu used 2 fingers to catch the paper. It looked like a business card, with 2 words on it, His Excellency, followed by his contact information. Using these things to evade taxes, I despise you. However, Ning Shu still kept the contact information. The silver-haired man asked Ning Shu, you really built the world of samsara? Give me the taxes and I'll tell you. Ning Shu sat on the doorstep, like a beggar begging for money, and asked the silver-haired man for money. Ning Shu was very irritated. Did he have any morals? Shouldn't he pay the taxes? He really wanted to call the silver-haired man a book of Taoism. I'll give you this question for free. The silver-haired man took out his identity card and swiped the taxes to Ning Shu. Ning Shu looked at the money the silver-haired man swiped and almost spat out blood. What the hell? 100 merit points? Ning Shu looked at the silver-haired man expressionlessly. I'm really angry. How can you play people like this? The silver-haired man said indifferently, my business is not good. This tax is correct. You can check it. Ning Shu's mouth twitched. You're so greedy, and you only pay such a small amount of taxes. Who are you trying to cheat? Mei Ziqing had only sat here for a while, and he had already been extorted of several merit points. How could such a stingy person be poor? Then why are you opening so many branches? Ning Shu said incredulously. It's because there aren't many people. That's why I have to open branches everywhere. The silver-haired man said indifferently. Ning Shu suspected that this person's reason for opening branches was to scam more people. The chances of scamming people were higher. Actually, this is a semi-charitable business. I give guidance to confused mission takers, so the money isn't much, the silver-haired man said. Ning Shu. They all felt touched. The silver-haired man had built his own world. With the power of faith and merit provided by the world, this amount of money was indeed nothing. But why did he have to scam everyone he caught? Ning Shu felt that he was one of the scammed people. You really built the world of reincarnation. The silver-haired man seemed to be very serious about the matters in the world of reincarnation. Ning Shu nodded her head listlessly. She had suffered a great shock, and after going through so much trouble, she only managed to get such a small amount of tax. This feeling made Ning Shu want to strangle the silver-haired man to death. "How's the evolution going?" the silver-haired man asked with his fingers crossed. Ning Shu shook his head. "Not very good. I just built it not long ago. I'm leaving." Then previously, when the Tai Shu and the silver-haired man got together, it wasn't for tax evasion. They must have been discussing something. The last time he saw the two of them together, they were about to wipe out those who failed too many missions, and completed too many missions. That time, she was almost completely wiped out. What were they whispering about this time? Ning Shu coughed and wanted to ask, but this kind of thing wasn't for her to interfere. Even if there was a policy, she would find out sooner or later. Ning Shu closed his mouth. She was almost not qualified to ask. If she wasn't qualified to ask, she was too lazy to ask. So much for reading novels. Chapter 2021. Ning Shu didn't even want to say a word after receiving only 100 merit points as tax. She risked being obliterated and sneaked around like a thief. She even asked Mei Ziqing to act as a vanguard. In the end, she only received 100 merit points. Ning Shu cursed in his heart. This was so boring. Instead of arguing with the silver-haired man, he might as well do missions. The soul value was so much better. He felt drunk. Ning Shu couldn't say a word for a long time. He had never met such a stingy person. He took a deep breath and asked, "Is this really all?" The silver-haired man, "Of course, you can check." Ning Shu really didn't know what to say. She turned around and left. She had to run quickly. What if the judge appeared again? It would be too sad to die for 100 merit points. After Ning Shu left, the silver-haired man picked up his book, stood up, and walked into the inner room. The consultation room was empty. Ning Shu entered the restaurant. Mei Ziqing and Xiaohua were eating. Seeing Ning Shu, Mei Ziqing asked, "Did you get the tax?" "Yes." Ning Shu took a sip of tea expressionlessly. Mei Ziqing said, "Looking at you, it didn't go well. You didn't get it." "Almost there." Ning Shu gulped down the whole cup of tea. Xiaohua immediately refilled Ning Shu's teacup and then remained silent. The atmosphere was a little bad now. "Why do you look like that when you got it?" Mei Ziqing took a sip of tea. She was very relaxed. Ning Shu glanced at her and said, "He gave me 100 merit points." "The consultation room's business is so bad?" Mei Ziqing asked in surprise. "Ning Shu, why didn't you think about the fact that he's missing out on my taxes?" Ning Shu said in a bad mood. "The auction house is bullying you. Although the consultation room is a little greedy, it's not to the extent that they don't give you anything," Mei Ziqing said casually. Mei Ziqing said casually, "The consultation room has existed since a long time ago. I don't think it would lack something like this. Perhaps the business is really bad." Ning Shu couldn't be bothered to fuss over these things. She browsed through the information that the silver-haired man had given her. It wasn't very useful. It was just that he had given her the contact information of an abyssal prefect. The abyssal prefect was someone who controlled billions of reincarnation worlds. Why would he have the time to bother with her? Therefore, it was basically nonsense, but he made it sound very high and mighty. Mei Ziqing shrugged and didn't say anything. Ning Shu changed the topic and asked, "How's your understanding of the laws?" "So," Mei Ziqing said. "Have you begun to construct the world?" Ning Shu asked. "Yes, there is no world carrier. I haven't found a suitable world carrier." Ning Shu, "Then what are you doing?" "Do the missions and survive. Worlds are easy to construct, but the world's origin is not easy to find. Even if you successfully construct it, it might just be a space, and it might not even be able to produce life. Take your time, what's the rush?" Mei Ziqing said casually. Ning Shu said, "Oh, what the heck? I'm a fugitive now." "I'm not a fugitive." I can't understand your frustration. Mei Ziqing said with a grin. Don't gloat. I'm leaving. Ning Shu said to Mei Ziqing and hurried out of the restaurant to strengthen the enchantment of Water City. Water City was her main source of income. Only by protecting Water City well and not letting anything happen to it would she be able to make a fortune. The more people who came here to comprehend the laws of water, the more people there would be, and the better the business of the shops would be. She would also have to pay a portion of the taxes to the higher-ups, and the rest would be hers. The shops would pay her taxes, and she would pay the taxes to the higher-ups. It was these taxes that allowed her to purchase the reincarnation origin and construct the reincarnation world. If she didn't have 1,000,000, she could only watch as the reincarnation origin was missed. She wouldn't know where to find it next time. Therefore, resources were really good things. She could trade for what she wanted. Therefore, money was good. Problems that could be solved with money were not big problems. What was scary was not having money and resources. After reinforcing the barrier of Water City, Ning Shu hurriedly returned to the system space. She was afraid that the Nephilic judge would jump out from somewhere and try to kill her. Ning Shu lay on the sofa and started munching on the spirit-replenishing fruit. To a certain extent, this tree was nourished by souls. Did eating the fruit count as eating a person? Thinking about it that way, it was indeed a little disgusting. Yes, she should eat a few more. Ning Shu was lying on the sofa like a corpse when the chatting system rang. Bored, Ning Shu opened the chatting system. Someone wanted to add her as a friend. Ning Shu sat up and looked at the name of the person who wanted to add her as a friend. Abyssal Prefect? Could it be that person who controlled billions of reincarnation worlds? Could it be someone with the same name? Ning Shu coughed, straightened her back, and accepted. Ning Shu patted her chest. She was a little nervous and didn't send a message over. If she waited for the other party to send a message, what if she made a mistake? Moreover, she was just a small shrimp. Would the Abyssal Prefect be so free to chat with her? Ning Shu looked at the chatting interface. It showed that the other party was typing. Damn, I feel even more nervous. What should I do? Ding dong, a message was sent over. Ning Shu almost jumped in fright. She looked at the other party's message. Abyssal Prefect. Hello, I'm Abyssal Prefect. I heard from Little Silver that you created a world of reincarnation. Is that true? Is there a rebirth pool in the world of reincarnation? Ning Shu, what the hell are you talking about? Ning Shu replied, my world of reincarnation is still evolving. There's no rebirth pool. Abyssal Prefect, I see. Is there anything you don't understand? Ning Shu was alarmed. Why was his attitude towards her so amiable? Ning Shu directly rejected. Abyssal Prefect, can I take a look at your world of reincarnation? Ning Shu, if you know it's rude, then don't say it. How do you want me to reject? Abyssal Prefect said, you don't have to worry that I will covet your world of reincarnation. It's just that most people choose to create a world of living beings and not a world of reincarnation. All the worlds created by the mission enforcers are connected to the world of reincarnation. I'm very happy that someone can be self-sufficient. Also, if your world of reincarnation is connected to billions of worlds, that would be even better. She really didn't know how to accept his words. 2333 said, don't be so stupid to connect billions of worlds. Countless souls will squeeze here. Your world is still a half-finished product. Worlds were like machines. If they were overused, they would be destroyed. Nothing was eternal. Ning Shu said to Abyssal Prefect, my world hasn't fully evolved. It's okay, I can help you take a look. Abyssal Prefect said. Ning Shu asked, what kind of person is he? She had rejected him time and time again, but he didn't seem to have noticed. Chapter 2022. 2333. He won't be interested in your space. At most, he wants to connect your world of reincarnation to billions of planes to reduce the burden on the world of reincarnation. Ning Shu asked back, aren't there many worlds of reincarnation? There were almost as many worlds of reincarnation as there were planes. 2333 said, in the life plane, the creatures of the sea, land, and air are all squeezed together after they die. Although each reincarnation plane has a corresponding life plane, the souls of all races are squeezed together. Can you imagine how crowded it is? Fortunately, the souls have to be reincarnated back to the world of life. Otherwise, the world of reincarnation would really explode. Ning Shu nodded and heaved a sigh of relief. He was afraid that there was no reason to be so polite. Moreover, the two sides were not on the same level. The Abyssal Prefect sent another message. May I know where we're meeting? Ning Shu, it seemed like he had to go and meet him. Otherwise, this person would not stop pestering him. Ning Shu, let's meet in the City of Water. His Excellency, he just came back from the City of Water and now he had to go again. Ning Shu felt that he was really busy. Why was it so hard to sit down and rest for a while? Ning Shu appeared in the City of Water and was told to meet the silver-haired man in the consultation room. Ning Shu, damn it, I don't want to go. Ning Shu dawdled to the consultation room and walked in. He saw that other than the silver-haired man, there was also a man in a suit and a bow tie. The suit was well-ironed with dark stripes and a pair of shiny leather shoes. The man's face was very pale. His pale fingers were crossed and he was talking to the silver-haired man. When he saw Ning Shu, he turned to look at Ning Shu. A pair of dark eyes sized up Ning Shu. Ning Shu smiled and stood up. He took a pair of black flowers and handed it to Ning Shu. For you. These words were like black roses, pure black. They emitted a wonderful fragrance, making people feel a sense of happiness from their hearts. They felt that the world was full of beauty and hope. Although he didn't know what kind of flower it must be something good if it could make people feel positive emotions. Ning Shu didn't want to accept it. The silver-haired man said, I can't refuse an elder's gift. Accept it. The Abyssal Prefect nodded. Accept it. Ning Shu stretched out his hand and placed it close to the Abyssal Prefect's hand. Immediately, the difference in their skin color appeared. Ning Shu was a patient when he was alive, so his face was very pale. His entire body was pale, but the Abyssal Prefect's hand was even paler. Ning Shu took the black rose and asked, What kind of flower is this? I don't have a name. You can call me anything you want, His Excellency said gently. He didn't expect the person who controlled the world of reincarnation to be like this, gentle and gentle. Ning Shu sniffed the flower. Then let it have no name. It doesn't deserve any name. Ning Shu didn't know what to say when the other party gave him a flower out of politeness. You seem to be a law incarnation. Not bad, the Abyssal Prefect said. Ning Shu smiled and said, I was just lucky. Can you invite me to your world of reincarnation to take a look? The Abyssal Prefect asked. Ning Shu nodded. A black hole appeared in front of him. The Abyssal Prefect and Ning Shu walked into the black hole together. The black hole disappeared and the two of them disappeared from the consultation room. It was as if they had never appeared. Ning Shu and the Abyssal Prefect appeared in the dark world of reincarnation. The Abyssal Prefect looked around. This world is bigger than I thought. How did you create the world of reincarnation? Ning Shu asked. Ning Shu saw the Abyssal Prefect's gentle attitude and told him about the fusion of the soul pearl and the pearl that could pass through any plane to absorb living beings. The Abyssal Prefect closed his eyes and listened to Ning Shu's words. Finally, he said, Life's opportunities are so miraculous. The Abyssal Prefect and Ning Shu stepped on the black sand and traveled through the endless black desert. Yes, it hasn't fully evolved yet, the Abyssal Prefect said. He looked at the towering 9-palace mountain. This is also a good thing. Use it well. Ning Shu saw the Abyssal Prefect looking at the 9-palace mountain and felt that he was measuring the Abyssal Prefect's heart with his own yardstick. Maybe something that he thought was amazing was nothing in the eyes of others. Ning Shu nodded. The Abyssal Prefect said, Don't worry. Let the world evolve slowly. The Abyssal Prefect took a step back and directly passed through Ning Shu's world of reincarnation and disappeared. Ning Shu also came out of the world of reincarnation. He came out of the black hole at about the same time as the Abyssal Prefect. The silver-haired man was flipping through a book. When he saw the two of them come back, he closed the thick book. The Abyssal Prefect said, It is indeed the world of reincarnation. However, it is still an immature world. The silver-haired man raised his eyebrows and didn't say anything. The abyssal prefect said to Ning Shu, "Let the world evolve slowly. Don't spoil it with excessive enthusiasm. Don't release the soul in that mountain. It will cause great harm to the world of reincarnation." As the abyssal prefect said this, a black door appeared in front of him. It was covered with complicated patterns. The abyssal prefect stepped into the door and then disappeared. The door also disappeared. Then, only Ning Shu and the silver-haired man were left. Ning Shu just wanted to roll his eyes. The silver-haired man said indifferently, "Since you have built the world of reincarnation, let your system make a report to the higher-ups and let them record it. If anything happens, you can use this to cover up." Ning Shu said, "Well, thank you. I'm leaving." 5 merit points, the silver-haired man said. Ning Shu was already used to the silver-haired man's stinginess and blackheart. He said directly, "Did I ask you anything? You should ask me for money." Not only was he black-hearted, he was also fucking unreasonable. To ask for 100 merit points, Ning Shu had really used all his strength. Now, he didn't know what he had said, but he asked for 5 merit points. Go to hell. From the moment you enter, you have to start charging. Don't you know this rule? The silver-haired man said, "I want you to be a notary of the world and record it. Even if someone snatches it, the world is still yours. It's like a patent application. Do you understand? Isn't this worth 5 merit points?" Ning Shu gave him a thumbs up. "You're awesome. Thank you for the compliment. Pay up." The silver-haired man said, "Knowledge is priceless. I'm just taking a little. Consider it charity." Ning Shu took out her ID card and transferred 5 merit points to the silver-haired man. Then she hurriedly ran away. If she stayed here any longer, she didn't know how much money she would have to pay. In the silver-haired man's shop, even air cost money. Charity? How could the silver-haired man have the nerve to say that? As for the abyssal prefect that he had just met, he looked gentle and elegant. However, Ning Shu didn't believe that he was as simple as he appeared to be. Managing so many worlds of reincarnation, how could there not be some ferocious souls? How could he suppress these souls? Killing souls was probably like cutting chives. He should also have a group of people managing the various world of reincarnation. Chapter 2023. Ning Shu returned to the system space. He was always running back and forth. Even in his soul state, Ning Shu felt a little tired and slumped on the sofa. Let's make a report. Proving that this world belonged to him was like applying for a patent. Only when he applied for it would the patent be his. If it was really stolen, there would be a file to check. However, everyone's world was almost merged with their own. The chances of it being stolen were very small. 2333 reported to the higher-ups. Soon, the main system gave a reply. It gave him a booklet, saying that it was for proof. It was a red booklet. Ning Shu thought it was a marriage certificate. Ning Shu opened the booklet. Written on it was Ning Shu's name and the reincarnation world. It was a legal document from the organization. It felt like a place of origin and an ID card. Ning Shu felt that he seemed to have entered a new height. Well, he was already a member. This was a member's certificate. Ning Shu put away the booklet. Then he found a vase for the black roses. A bright red rose, a pure black rose. There was also a lotus in the system space. Her system space was probably going to become a flower garden, collecting all kinds of flowers. Too many things had happened. Ning Shu planned to rest for a while. He lay on the sofa and nibbled on a fruit. He asked 2333, "Do you think it's possible that I won't be erased?" "You can hang around in front of the judge and see if he will erase you," 2333 said. "The world you built is not a success. After all, it's only a half-finished product. So, I'm not sure if you will be erased." So, in the future, he still had to avoid the judge. When he completely built the world, he would definitely be able to float in front of the judge. This feeling was really good. Ning Shu just flipped through his mind. There was also the law of water, light, and darkness. Ning Shu sat on the sofa. There were many spirit-replenishing fruit pits on the ground. Ning Shu took a hammer and smashed the pits. He wanted to see what the kernels looked like. What surprised Ning Shu was that there was something transparent in the core of the fruit that looked like a baby. It dissipated in an instant. What the hell was this? The spirit-replenishing fruit tree was really strange. There should be soul power in the core, 2333 said, but it disappeared in an instant. An incomparably small baby was curled up in the core of the fruit. Although this baby was made of soul force, it was still a little frightening. Could it be that the spirit-replenishing fruit tree wanted to create a person? The flesh on the outside provided nutrients for the core inside. It was a little strange. Ning Shu felt that his soul had become much tougher. When he pressed his finger on his soul, he felt as if he was pressing on armor. She didn't eat a bunch of spirit-replenishing fruits in vain. Next time, when she had time, she would go and see what was so special about the spirit-replenishing fruit tree. It was just that the spirit-replenishing fruit tree had a lot of tentacles, which was troublesome. Ning Shu was still thinking about the spirit-replenishing fruit tree when she heard a ding-dong from the chat system. Who was looking for her? Ning Shu opened the chat system and saw that someone had invited her to a chat group. Moreover, the people in this chat group were all mission enforcers who had constructed the world. Ning Shu didn't want to join the chat group. After the incident with the law group last time, Ning Shu wasn't very enthusiastic about joining chat groups. Moreover, she didn't speak more than 10 sentences in the law incarnation group. Therefore, Ning Shu didn't plan to join the chat group. She wasn't very popular in the chat group. It was better to be alone. Ning Shu ignored this message and said to 2333, "Let's go do the mission." After completing the mission, they would look for the origin of the world. 2333 asked, "Do the system mission?" Ning Shu, "Do it," Ning Shu said. 2333, "Really? Then I won't do it." "Okay, let's do it now." 2333 directly flipped Ning Shu over and violently threw Ning Shu out of the system space. Ning Shu, was he so afraid that she would go back on her word? It was probably because his soul had become stronger. Even if he was treated so violently, his soul didn't feel much discomfort. Ning Shu felt that he had merged with a soul and quickly woke up. Ning Shu sat up from the bed and felt a headache. He rubbed his head and then rubbed his nose. His nose was a little stuffy and uncomfortable. Looking at the decorations around, this was a modern world. System mission. Ning Shu took a deep breath and began to accept the plot. The client was called Ro Xueqiao. She was the daughter of a rich family. She was beautiful and a winner in life. However, he met a loser, Zhao Liang. This loser was Zhao Liang. This Zhao Liang was a child of an ordinary family. His parents worked in a factory. It was not easy to find a college student. In the end, Zhao Liang was a cynical person who had high standards but little ability. After graduation, he didn't have money to borrow money from his classmates. In the end, his classmates didn't lend him money. So he bore a grudge against his classmates and said that they looked down on him. In short, he complained about his classmates and gnashed his teeth. Anyway, he didn't have any ability and his temper was a little bad. He felt that others looked down on him. He always felt that it was the fault of the society and other people's fault. After being accidentally hit by a car, Zhao Liang woke up and opened his Sharingan, no, X-ray vision. He could see other people's bodies through their clothes. This kind of abnormality was simply a man's dream. X-ray vision could see people's bodies through their clothes. It could especially satisfy men's desire to see women. It was extremely wretched. From then on, Zhao Liang would open his Sharingan, no, X-ray vision whenever he met a beautiful woman. He began to evaluate her face and body. In Zhao Liang's eyes, all the beautiful women were naked. Walking on the street, the women on the street were all naked. When he first got this ability, he was very excited. He even squatted on the road to look at the beautiful women. Drool flowed out of his mouth. Later, Zhao Liang realized that this X-ray vision could not only see beautiful women but also bring him money and fame. The X-ray vision could see through the appearance and see the essence. Stone gambling was simply profitable. The X-ray vision could clearly see what kind of jade was wrapped in the raw stone. Jade was very precious, especially jade with a good water source. Zhao Liang gained some capital through stone gambling. After that, he began to play with antiques. The real and fake antiques couldn't hide from Zhao Liang's X-ray vision. He also picked up a lot of real antiques. Stone gambling and antiques were violent. Therefore, Zhao Liang accumulated some capital. X-ray vision was also unique in gambling and medical treatment. It could see through the human body and see the internal organs of a person clearly. Especially in gambling, it could see clearly the cards, dice and so on. Relying on this cheating device, Zhao Liang could make a fortune by gambling. Chapter 2024. Money makes the world go round. Once a man had money and power, his charm value would rise in the hearts of women. Zhao Liang earned money and took the lead in buying a big house for his parents to live in. The little girl next door, who used to ignore him, now followed him and called him brother. The neighbors who used to live opposite their family always looked down on them. They always said that the Zhao family should not find such a person as a boyfriend in the future. The little girl who used to look down on people with her nose was now smiling at him sweetly. This feeling was too comfortable and too light. Zhao Liang did not put in any effort to get everything. He got it easily with his X-ray vision. The X-ray vision ability made Zhao Liang an expert in treasure appraisal and a big crocodile in stone gambling. Most of the raw stones he took a fancy to could produce the best jade, especially some of the best jade, such as the Emperor Green Jade. A good piece of jade was worth tens of millions. The poor played with cars, the rich played with jade, the scammers showed off their mobile phones, and the rich showed off their computers. Ordinary people could only vomit blood. With capital, Zhao Liang took the money directly to the company where the classmate who borrowed money worked. He directly took a lot of money and splashed it on the classmate's face. You were not willing to lend me money because you were afraid that I could not afford it. Now these are for you. You were blind at that time. Riches and honor do not return home. It is like walking in the night. I now have a lot of beautiful clothes and beautiful girls. I was bullied by my classmate when I borrowed money. Now I am back to slap his face. Ning Shu estimated that the classmate was sullen to death. I can lend you my money if I want to. If I don't want to, I won't. The incident of borrowing money made the classmate lose face in front of his colleagues. He was also fired. Now Zhao Liang had money. He invested in a company. To fire a small employee and get an investment, this was something that he did not even need to think about. Previously, Zhao Liang was a young man who struggled to survive in society. He was struggling, confused, and in pain. Now, he had the capital to make others unable to stand in society. Nice cars and beautiful girls were the standard of the rich. Unconsciously, many beautiful girls had gathered around Zhao Liang. For the women who came to him, Zhao Liang accepted them with a smile. In the past, these beautiful girls would not even look at him. Now, they looked at him differently. Maybe Zhao Liang had no scruples. He directly told these women that he had more than one woman. But these women were like pigs. Although they were jealous, they could get along with each other like in ancient times. This is Zhao Liang entered and exited high-class places, appraising treasures for others, and became a successful person. If he saw a beautiful woman falling into prostitution, he would save her. Zhao Liang was also generous to his women. If they asked for money, he would give them money. He even gave some of the best quality jade stones to his women to make jewelry. Zhao Liang's hunting didn't care about your identity. The premise was that you were beautiful enough. The client and Rou Xueqiao met at a banquet. Rou Xueqiao looked noble and dignified. She had a noble temperament and was different from ordinary beauties. Ordinary women could use money, but how could a girl born in a wealthy family not see money? Had she not seen anything rare? If you want to conquer such a woman, you have to show her your powerful abilities and skills. The client's grandfather had a heart attack during the banquet. Zhao Liang calmly used his X-ray vision to observe the client's condition and then began to treat him. Needless to say, this action made Zhao Liang fiercely brush up his presence in front of Rou Xueqiao, successfully making Rou Xueqiao remember Zhao Liang as a man. Because he saved the old man of the Ruo family, Zhao Liang was also known by some people in the upper class. Then he opened up a road to wealth. How could people not get sick when they eat grains? Using X-ray vision, Zhao Liang could always cure the disease. Therefore, many big shots owed Zhao Liang a favor. Zhao Liang took a fancy to Rou Xueqiao. Although Rou Xueqiao felt that this man had a promising future and saved her grandfather's life, Rou Xueqiao had a fiancé. The other party was a person with poor health. His body was ill and he spent half of the year in the hospital. Although she was unwilling to accept her fate, she had to pay for what she enjoyed. Rou Xueqiao could only be like this. Zhao Liang was very satisfied with Rou Xueqiao. She was beautiful and had a good family background. Her temperament was noble and she had a melancholy. It made people feel distressed when they saw her. It couldn't be better to get this kind of rich and beautiful goddess into his pocket. Zhao Liang was very attentive to Rou Xueqiao. He gave her some things that weren't worth much, but they were full of his heart. Rou Xueqiao had a good impression of Zhao Liang, but she didn't agree to date Zhao Liang. She was born in a wealthy family. Many people paid attention to her words and actions. Rou Xueqiao didn't let go. Zhao Liang became more energetic and more attentive to Rou Xueqiao. Rou Xueqiao said that she had a fiancé. He was from another family and wouldn't have anything to do with Zhao Liang. Perhaps Rou Xueqiao's fiancé knew something. The wedding was brought forward a lot. Rou Xueqiao was going to get married in a short period of time. Rou Xueqiao firmly rejected Zhao Liang. In fact, the current Rou family was already going downhill. A beautiful girl raised by an aristocratic family was going to marry a sick person. It meant a marriage alliance. When Rou Xueqiao got married, Zhao Liang ran to cause trouble. He directly made Rou Xueqiao's fiancé fall to the ground in anger. He even dragged Rou Xueqiao away, saying that Rou Xueqiao wouldn't be happy with such a man. Rou Xueqiao was dragged away by Zhao Liang. Then, Rou Xueqiao was horrified to find that this man still had many female confidants. Rou Xueqiao's fiancé was sent to the hospital. His condition worsened, causing the Rou family to suffer. Because of this, Rou Xueqiao was miserably scammed by the Rou family. Rou Xueqiao's heart was bitter. This man had so many female confidants, yet he still wanted to chase after her. Now, she couldn't get off the stage. Rou Xueqiao went to the hospital to take care of her fiancé, but she couldn't even enter the ward. Rou Xueqiao's actions directly angered Zhao Liang. He had already saved her, yet he still wanted to jump into the fire pit. With his ability, he could completely help the Rou family. For a man, he hoped that a woman wouldn't ask why. She only needed to be full of confidence in him and bet all her treasures on him. Clearly, Rou Xueqiao's actions disappointed Zhao Liang. He couldn't compare to the Rou family now, but it didn't mean that the Zhao family could also become a wealthy family in the future. At that time, Rou Xueqiao would regret it. Zhao Liang intentionally or unintentionally pushed out the Rou family. Especially since Zhao Liang knew many big shots, it made the Rou family's days even worse. It made the short-sighted woman who didn't recognize the treasure regret it. Zhao Liang had a strong sense of self-esteem. It was the kind of person who passed by Zhao Liang and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of saliva when his throat was inflamed. Zhao Liang felt that the other party was humiliating him. Under his extreme self-esteem, he felt extremely inferior. The classmate who had borrowed money from him before, and now the ignorant Rou Xueqiao had touched a piece of soft meat in his heart. Chapter 2025. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. What Zhao Liang hated the most was others looking down on him. Rou Xueqiao's actions were simply slapping Zhao Liang's face. Choosing a sickly person over him made Zhao Liang furious. In Zhao Liang's words, he couldn't tolerate betrayal. He felt that others looked down on him. Rou Xueqiao was speechless. She had never seen such a narrow-minded man. You have so many close female friends and so many good sisters. She wanted to marry someone else, but he didn't let her marry him. He even looked like she had let this man down. Rou Xueqiao was so angry that she laughed. Not only did she not regret it, she was still stubborn and had no foresight. The situation of the Rou family was getting worse and worse. They stood on the wrong side during the election, causing the situation of the Rou family to deteriorate. Now that this kind of thing happened, the fiancé's family was unhappy and tormented the Rou family. Zhao Liang was uncomfortable and tormented the Rou family. The Rou Xueqiao, the daughter of a rich family, still had to go out to work. When she was working, she met Zhao Liang. Zhao Liang stuffed money into Rou Xueqiao's collar and then sneered at Rou Xueqiao. Rou Xueqiao's wish was, "I'm going to marry the sickly person." She looked down on Zhao Liang and saved the Rou family's ship that was already leaking. Rou Xueqiao was a member of the Rou family. The decline of the Rou family was due to various reasons. There was also the torment of the fiancé's family and Zhao Liang. Especially after this incident, Rou Xueqiao's fiancé died after lying in bed for more than 2 months. There was no room for negotiation. Rou Xueqiao's identity was awkward. She really didn't know how to deal with it. It seemed that the former bosom friends, best friends, and so on, were no longer in contact. It was already very friendly not to hit someone when they were down. However, the women who followed Zhao Liang were not so polite to Rou Xueqiao. One by one, they mocked Rou Xueqiao for not being tactful and not being smart. What was the point of marrying a sickly person? Now that the sickly person couldn't get anything, it made Zhao Liang uncomfortable. Perhaps Rou Xueqiao was a rich young lady and had seen a lot of the world. For these women to surround a man, and this man was not very handsome, so stubborn, those women could not understand Rou Xueqiao, and Rou Xueqiao could not understand them. One of the girls was Rou Xueqiao's best friend. She was a clever and eccentric girl who especially liked to tease people. She also took a fancy to Zhao Liang. However, she had a good eye and found that Zhao Liang was a very interesting person. After interacting with him, she became interested in Zhao Liang. She also advised Rou Xueqiao that following Zhao Liang was better than following that sick man. If she were to follow a sickly man, she would have no future prospects for the rest of her life. In short, Rou Xueqiao's 3 views were shattered. Such a proud best friend shared a man with others. Her brain was muddled. Even if her best friend said that Zhao Liang was good to every woman, Rou Xueqiao still felt inexplicable. This was an affectionate scumbag. He was proud that there were so many women following him wholeheartedly because of his charm. Rou Xueqiao felt that she was very unlucky to have met Zhao Liang. What made people even more speechless was that it seemed that not following Zhao Liang was her fault. Even at the most difficult time, Rou Xueqiao did not go to Zhao Liang. Rou Xueqiao's life was quite difficult. Ning Shu wiped his face. Wasn't it a system? How could it be X-ray vision? This was not a system, right? He felt that all these fortuitous encounters had fallen on this kind of person. He had nothing, but he still blamed the heavens and people all day long. The road was not smooth, and he blamed society. It was all other people's fault. All day long, he hoped that the world would fall into his lap. He hoped that the world would fall into his lap. He might as well hope that the world would fall into his lap. It was more realistic to hope that the world would fall into his lap. Ning Shu 2333 said, "This is not a system, right? It's a superpower. It's the same nature. We have to get rid of this superpower." 23,333 said. Ning Shu said directly, "This is simple. Just blind Zhao Liang's eyes." 23333, it's useless to blind him. You have to make the superpower disappear. In other words, you have to get rid of Zhao Liang. If you blind him, the superpower will remain in Zhao Liang's body. It will become another superpower, such as invisibility or something. 23333 said, "This is not a superpower world. This kind of superpower is an invader. It will not be able to gain any benefits from the host. This way, the superpower will leave the host. It's the same as dealing with the system." Ning Shu nodded. It seemed that the system's mission was not a simple system mission. There were other statuses, such as superpowers. In this kind of world, superpowers did not exist. If it was the end of the world, or a world where superpowers existed, they would not be considered invaders. Perhaps there was more than one person in this world with superpowers, but there was really no one who could turn the world upside down like this. As his wealth, reputation, and social status increased, the luck of the world would inevitably tilt towards Zhao Liang. Ning Shu's nose was running. She came at a bad time. It seemed that the current Zhao Liang had some capital. Moreover, at the banquet he had saved Rou Xueqiao's grandfather. Her grandfather had a very good impression of Zhao Liang. After all, he was a lifesaver. Ning Shu went out to find a servant to take some medicine. She did not know why she had caught a cold. The servant saw that Ning Shu's face was not good and asked, "Miss, are you not feeling well?" "I'm fine," Ning Shu said directly. She glanced at the servant and went upstairs. The servant waited until Ning Shu went upstairs. She picked up the phone and dialed someone. It should be to call Zhao Liang. It did not take long for Zhao Liang to come over. Zhao Liang was generous. Even if the maid working in the Rou family had a good salary, it would be great if there was an extra tip or a jade earring. The jade earring that Zhao Liang gave to the servant was made of jade scraps. It was not distressing at all. However, it could be used to bribe people. Moreover, Rou Xueqiao was noble and elegant. It would take a lot of effort to woo her. Ning Shu returned to her room and opened the cloakroom. She wanted to wear 2 more clothes. After all, in Zhao Liang's eyes, she was as if she was naked. She felt like she was being watched, but it was not good to flare up. "I flare up when I look at you. Can't you be watched by others?" Who knew that Zhao Liang's eyes were laser eyes? Ning Shu rummaged for a while but could not find a prop that could resist X-ray vision. No matter how many clothes she wore, it was almost the same as running naked in Zhao Liang's eyes. Damn, this feeling was really fucking unpleasant. Zhao Liang's X-ray vision was similar to Ning Shu's spiritual power. Moreover, Ning Shu's spiritual power covered a large area. Zhao Liang could only see things with his X-ray vision. Ning Shu also gave up wearing many clothes to resist Zhao Liang's spiritual power. If it really did not work, she could try to cover her body with a layer of enchantment with the law of water. Just read a refreshing novel. Chapter 2026. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. He didn't know if the suppression of the laws of this world was strong. Ning Shu pointed his finger, and a water droplet appeared in front of him. The suppression was quite strong. Ning Shu turned the water droplet into a barrier around his body. He shouldn't be able to see her like this. She wasn't sure if Zhao Liang's X-ray vision could see her body. She felt that this man was really vulgar. When looking at women, he used X-ray vision. Ning Shu used the water droplet to form a thin barrier around his body. Then, he sat cross-legged on the bed and began to cultivate. There was basically no spiritual energy in the modern plane. He could only absorb the power of the sun. If the power of the sun was not pure, the air would be filled with haze and car exhaust. Although it was not very pure, Ning Shu did not mind. It was best to have some ability to protect oneself. After Zhao Liang became rich, he was followed by a long line of bodyguards. For his own safety, Zhao Liang was very vigilant. Ning Shu was cultivating when the sound of a car engine came from outside. Then there was the sound of stopping the fire. Ning Shu stopped cultivating. Zhao Liang came really quickly. Ning Shu sat in the room and did not move. Zhao Liang would definitely come to find him first. Ning Shu closed his eyes and continued to cultivate. The modern plane was so lacking in spiritual energy. It was absolutely impossible to have the power to split mountains and fill the sea. There was a knock on the door, followed by the voice of a maid. She whispered, "Miss, Zhao Liang is here. He is now looking at the old man. Do you want to go over and take a look?" The Rou family also gave her a salary, and the treatment was not bad. He didn't see this maid so enthusiastic. She was blinded by a little profit. Ning Shu got down from the bed, put on his shoes, and opened the door. He looked at the maid. The maid was stared at by Ning Shu like this. She was a little nervous and lowered her head. Ning Shu said, "Where are they?" "In the old man's study," the maid said. Ning Shu nodded. He gathered his clothes and went to the study. At the door of the study, Zhao Liang, who was wearing casual clothes, was talking to the old man. Xueqiao, you're here. Come in. The old man was already in his 80s. There were wrinkles on his face, but because he took good care of himself, there were no age spots on his face or hands. Ning Shu walked into the study and called out, "Grandpa, who is this?" He turned to look at Zhao Liang and asked, "Grandpa, who is this?" Zhao Liang's face trembled. This young lady actually had no impression of him at all? That can't be. At that time, he saved the old man of the Rou family. Zhao Liang's left eye lit up. His eyes were very bright as he stared at Ning Shu. He sized up Ning Shu from head to toe and then frowned. He found that his X-ray vision was actually unable to clearly see the body of this woman in front of him. It was as if he was looking through a layer of frosted glass. He could see the general outline, but he couldn't see the details. His X-ray vision was like looking into a mirror. He could clearly see the body covered by clothes. Could it be that his X-ray vision wasn't good enough? Zhao Liang looked at Old Master Rou. Seeing Old Master Rou's stooped and flabby body wrapped in clothes, Zhao Liang immediately covered his eyes. This was the disadvantage of X-ray vision. He might see something unpleasant. Zhao Liang looked at Ning Shu again, but it was still blurry and he couldn't see clearly. Zhao Liang couldn't help but frown. Why couldn't his X-ray vision work on Rou Xueqiao? The last time he saw Rou Xueqiao, he could still see that her skin was as smooth as cream, soft and firm. Her lower abdomen was flat and there was no fat at all. Her legs were extremely slender, and there was that seductive triangular area. He saw it clearly last time. Why couldn't he see it this time? Or was Rou Xueqiao wearing something that couldn't be X-ray vision? Zhao Liang was a little depressed. Ning Shu looked at Zhao Liang. Zhao Liang's appearance was very ordinary. There were some acne marks on his face, which made his skin look bad. He was thin and his left eye was very bright. When he looked at people, it made them feel like they were being seen through. Seeing the displeasure on Zhao Liang's face, Ning Shu breathed a sigh of relief. No one liked to be seen naked. Zhao Liang's situation was considered peeping. He had seen her naked without anyone knowing. Zhao Liang didn't know how happy he must be. "Miss Rou, you might not know me. I'm Zhao Liang." Zhao Liang put away the disappointment in his heart. Ning Shu said with a smile. Although he wasn't very handsome, when he smiled like this, it gave people a feeling of sunshine. "I heard that you were sick. I brought you some porridge. I made this porridge myself. I hope you like it." Zhao Liang put his hand on the thermos. Ning Shu asked with a surprised expression, "Thank you, I'm not sick. Who told you that I was sick?" "Actually, this porridge is for Elder Rou, but I heard that you were sick." Zhao Liang didn't say that it was the maid who told him. If he betrayed the maid, who would pass the message to him? Ning Shu said directly, "Since you gave it to my grandfather, I can't accept it." "Grandfather, why are you looking for me?" Ning Shu looked at Elder Rou. Did he need her, his granddaughter, to entertain outsiders? "Nothing." Elder Rou said, "If there's nothing, you can go out." Ning Shu frowned. "Shaoli said you were looking for me." Zhao Liang saw that Rou Xueqiao was about to go out and quickly said to Elder Rou, "Elder Rou, you have to pay more attention to rest. Don't stay up late. It's not good to worry. Your body will recover soon." Elder Rou nodded. Zhao Liang followed Ning Shu out of the study. Zhao Liang had been using his X-ray vision to size up Ning Shu, but he couldn't see clearly, except for his face and neck. Zhao Liang was really unhappy. His X-ray vision, which had never had a problem, actually had a problem with Rou Xueqiao. Moreover, he had saved Elder Rou before, but Rou Xueqiao didn't recognize him. She was looking down on him too much. Zhao Liang felt that with his X-ray vision, everyone should be surrounding him. He was now famous, a master appraiser, but she hadn't heard of him. She was too ignorant. "You don't look too good. Are you sick?" Zhao Liang leaned closer to Ning Shu, his eyes staring straight at Ning Shu's face. If it was an ordinary woman, she would be blushed by his direct, confident, and aggressive gaze. Ning Shu put his hands behind his back and took a step back. He tilted his head and looked at Zhao Liang, Who said I was sick? I'm not sick. You're the Zhao Liang that you mentioned, right? I heard you say that she met an interesting person. I hope you won't make you sad. This was the best friend of Yu's client. Their family background was comparable. He already had so many women, but he still wanted to flirt with her. He took in every beauty he saw. Could he have any shame? How could he have the nerve to do that? Zhao Liang was a nouveau riche. He couldn't control himself when he suddenly became rich, and then he became arrogant. Just read a refreshing novel. Chapter 2027. Falling in Love with You, the canon fodder female supporting characters counterattack. Zhao Liang thought that he was the boss, and there were also women who wanted to drill into his arms, eager to show off his achievements. He had a lot of resources, money, and women in society, but Zhao Liang's heart would not be satisfied, and would only become more and more greedy. There was no lack of women who used their bodies in exchange for a comfortable life. They took a fancy to Zhao Liang, who did not have a high social status. It was a bit difficult to hook up with those high and mighty rich second generation, but Zhao Liang was much easier. However, the daughters who had a relationship with Zhao Liang could finally fall in love with Zhao Liang. Under the halo of a stallion man, women's hearts were blinded. The client's identity was a girl from a rich family. She had seen money and all kinds of jewelry. As for the things that Zhao Liang showed, the client really did not take a fancy to. Therefore, girls had to be raised well, and would not be lost because of a little attention from a man. In addition, Ro Xueqiao understood the situation of Ro family, and the marriage with her fiancé's family was a mission to pull the Ro family that was in danger. You, and I are friends who can talk to each other. Did you misunderstand something? Zhao Liang looked at Ning Shu with a smile. Ning Shu grinned. She especially hated Zhao Liang's left eye. The pupil of his left eye was constantly shrinking, and he was probably still desperately trying to see her body. I won't let you see, so I won't let you see. No matter what your identity is, you is my best friend. You'd better not make her sad. I heard that you have a lot of girlfriends, is that so? Ning Shu's eyes were full of straightforward disdain. You have so many girlfriends, and you're trying to flirt with a beauty. You have the nerve. Zhao Liang's face changed. He thought that this arrogant young miss did not know about his situation. He did not expect her to know that he had several women. He failed to make a good impression, and Zhao Liang thought that the other party would not have any opinions about his situation. At most, she would make a fuss for a while and then compromise. Just like when you knew that he had several women, she immediately became jealous. In the end, she also acted coquettishly and said that he could only spoil her in the future. He had tacitly agreed to the existence of those women. He had already dealt with you, who was arrogant and difficult to deal with. Could it be that he couldn't deal with this noble and cold soft Snow Qiao? As soon as Zhao Liang saw Ning Shu's frosty face, he felt annoyed. One day, he would let this woman linger under his body and let her know the consequences of looking down on him. Zhao Liang wanted to conquer this woman in front of him, and after conquering her, he wanted to get rid of her. Sooner or later, I'll fuck you. Zhao Liang thought indignantly. This woman didn't like him, but she had the appearance that he liked. How infuriating. Ning Shu saw the resentful look on Zhao Liang's face. He didn't need to think to know what Zhao Liang was thinking. Under Ning Shu's gaze, Zhao Liang was a little embarrassed. Although Zhao Liang was rich now, he still couldn't raise his head in the face of a family with a real background. He was resentful in his heart. In the face of a person like Ning Shu who looked at him from a high position, Zhao Liang was embarrassed and angry in his heart. People like Soft Snow Qiao were people that Zhao Liang couldn't get rid of in the past. Even if he got in touch with them, they were people that he could only look at but not reach. The reason why Zhao Liang didn't refuse beautiful women and chased after powerful women was to prove that he was really different from before. He was no longer the person who had nothing. Even if Zhao Liang was given X-ray vision and had a lot of money, it couldn't change Zhao Liang's mentality. Ning Shu just showed a little arrogance, and Zhao Liang couldn't stand it. Zhao Liang said that he would visit another day and left. Looking at Zhao Liang's back, Ning Shu curled his lips and turned to the old man's study. Grandpa. Ning Shu called Elder Ro. Elder Ro put down his reading glasses and asked, Ro, what's wrong? You sent Zhao Liang away? Ning Shu said lightly, Grandpa, you seem to think highly of Zhao Liang? The young man is not bad, right? Don't bully a young man because he's poor. Besides, he's quite capable. It's a pity that you're already engaged to the Mo family. Otherwise, you could marry Zhao Liang. Elder Ro said half-jokingly. Ning Shu rolled his eyes and said, Grandpa, wake up. Let me tell you, this Zhao Liang has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. You was tricked by him. He has a lot of female friends, and he doesn't plan to marry any of them. I don't think he'll get married in this lifetime. If he gets married, he can't be entangled with so many women. If he wasn't married and had a lot of women around him, people would at most say that his private life was debauched. To put it nicely, it was called a romantic. It also proved that the man was charming. Besides, with so many women, it wasn't suitable to marry any one of them. It would be better if everyone didn't have a wife. It would be equal. Elder Ro put down his brush and was a little surprised. He's so unrestrained in his private life? He's a man. There's something wrong with him. Elder Ro said carelessly. A man who can't even control his own belt, what kind of future does he have? Let's not talk about how he treats women. Do you know how he treated his classmates who didn't lend him money after he became rich? He forced others into a corner. You can see what kind of person this person is. Grandpa, you have to get along with him in the future. If you say something that hurts his heart, he will find a chance to kill our Ro family. Ning Shu said slowly. Elder Ro frowned. How do you know so much about him? It's you, who told me this in my ear. I can't help but want to know about this person. So, Grandpa, don't think that he saved you. Do you know what he studied in university before? Information technology. How could he know how to treat illnesses and save people? Ning Shu directly exposed Zhao Liang's background. Grandpa, I've told you so much. Be more careful when you get along with this Zhao Liang. Also, I think this man is too strange. Elder Ro nodded. Other than this, is there anything else? Ning Shu said, Grandpa, I want to learn nursing. When I get married to Mo Ming, I can take good care of him. Sure, it's just that it's hard on you. Your father is useless. Elder Ro sighed. The Ro family's current situation was not very good. Although a skinny camel was bigger than a horse, there were some projects that were directly stuck. The Ro family could not even get meat soup. What was there to do? Doing some projects that were the size of a mosquito's leg, the Ro family situation was very grim. Ning Shu only said, Dad is also working very hard. It was difficult for a clever woman to cook without rice. What could he do if he could not get the project? The higher-ups would not give it to him. Ning Shu wanted to learn nursing. Firstly, it was to give the Mo family a signal. Secondly, it was to prevent him from suddenly knowing everything and arousing suspicion. The client had not learned any nursing. If he acted very skillful, wouldn't it arouse suspicion? Just read a refreshing novel. Chapter 2028. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character Counterattack. Ning Shu said, Grandpa, it's better to investigate Zhao Liang more. This Zhao Liang is very powerful. Even if you find something, don't say anything. Okay, you child, I don't need you to tell me about this. Old Man Ro said. His only failure was to stand on the wrong side during the election. Ning Shu nodded. The following days were more busy. He went to the top hospital to learn nursing. Although the Mo family did not lack nursing staff, this was a problem of attitude. At the same time, Ning Shu had to take away all the advantages of Zhao Liang. Now Zhao Liang was a little famous and his net worth was not low. How to deal with Zhao Liang? It was really difficult to deal with. Ning Shu not only learned nursing knowledge, but also relied on the Ro family's relationship to become a disciple of a traditional Chinese medicine master. He also learned some traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Although traditional Chinese medicine had become specious, there were still top traditional Chinese medicine who were true traditional Chinese medicine. This kind of person served those above. Ning Shu knew a little about acupuncture, but when she was learning it, she hid some of her skills. When the master asked her to memorize the acupoints, she did so and tried it on her own body. When the master saw that Ning Shu was serious about learning, he began to slowly teach Ning Shu the medical theory of taking the pulse and various symptoms. For the same disease, traditional Chinese medicine would try to fully understand the principle of the case, while Western medicine was to treat the foot and the head. A truly proficient doctor of traditional Chinese medicine would not be so flustered. Only by combining Chinese and Western medicine could they treat diseases better. Just like the old man who took heart pills, he also took Chinese medicine pills. They were all made of expensive Chinese medicine. Ning Shu did not know how sick the fiancé of the client was. He heard that his mother's health was not good, but she insisted on giving birth to him. Premature birth was weak, and her resistance was very weak. She was often hospitalized. However, Mo Ming was more favored in the Mo family. Otherwise, the Rou family would not have this idea. With Mo Ming's short life, very few girls married him. The Rou family married an outstanding girl to him, not for the sake of the monk, but for the sake of the Buddha, to help reverse the decline of the Rou family. Ning Shu was very familiar with this knowledge, so he treated it as a review. In addition to learning nursing knowledge, Ning Shu also hired a private investigator to keep an eye on Zhao Liang. Ning Shu looked at the photos brought by the private investigator. In the photos, Zhao Liang took a group of his close female friends out for a meal or shopping. He even bought a big villa for everyone to live together in the future. Other than spending time with his confidants, he also went to casinos and stone gambling dens. With the help of his X-ray vision, Zhao Liang could earn tens of millions every minute. It was too easy to earn money. Zhao Liang was basically lying down and collecting money. It was too comfortable. Moreover, Zhao Liang had a batch of valuable antiques in his hands. Being opportunistic was always faster than actually earning money. If everyone in the world was like Zhao Liang, then who would do business? Just like the Rou family, they were also trying their best to get projects. After doing projects, they would get money from the country. What they did was all industry. This was the foundation of their foothold. In the eyes of these wealthy families, Zhao Liang was just a person who jumped up with a little bit of luck. He did not have a strong background to support him. Of course, in the end, Zhao Liang would give these people a resounding slap in the face. Zhao Liang was very powerful. So what if you rich second generation had a strong background? He would still hang you up. Ning Shu burned these photos. Otherwise, he would keep the photos to wipe his ass. It was very painful to poke at people. Ning Shu spread rumors in the casino that Zhao Liang was a cheater. Otherwise, in one night, Zhao Liang won millions from the casino. The people in the casino had been staring at Zhao Liang for a long time. Every time the casino would cheat, but Zhao Liang could win. It was really crazy. In the stone gambling place, Ning Shu spread the rumor that Zhao Liang had a special method to distinguish what kind of jade was inside the raw stone, so Zhao Liang could open the best jade every time. There were countless top-grade jades with good waterhead from his hands, and Zhao Liang had the ability to distinguish them. In fact, Ning Shu could also see the situation inside the raw stone with spiritual force, but Ning Shu was not very interested in this. If it was the origin of the world, she would be very excited, but jade, at most, it was a good-looking stone. Ning Shu was not interested. Moreover, the situation of the Rou family was not something that could be solved by a few broken stones. It was also related to the status of the aristocratic families. Whether it was gambling or stone gambling, it was a game of heartbeat. It could be bankrupt or a windfall. They all wanted to win. Zhao Liang had special methods and props to know the situation inside the raw stone. This kind of rumor spread very quickly. In fact, many people noticed Zhao Liang, the king of stone gambling. Although there were a few times when the water was not good, most of them were very good. Even if Zhao Liang later bought the raw stone and did not open it in the stone gambling house, he took it back and opened it himself. But some people still think that Zhao Liang found the best jade. As soon as this rumor came out, these people who surrounded the stone gambling every day were stunned. If there was really a way to find the best quality raw stone, then they would be rich. Even some of the rich second-generation heirs heard these rumors and wanted to see if Zhao Liang had this kind of ability and method. Moreover, things like jade were not too much. So one night, Zhao Liang was put in a bag, hit with a stick, and dragged away. Since he became rich, Zhao Liang had never been treated like this. Now, those who knew him were not respectful. Now, there was such a bold person who hit him with a stick. Zhao Liang was tied up by a group of crazy playboys. Like playing a game, they let Zhao Liang choose the raw stone with the best jade inside. If he could not choose, he would be beaten. These playboys usually played very wild. They played with women and men. They could even pull a man's intestines out of his rectum and kill people. Therefore, Zhao Liang would definitely suffer in the hands of these people. Zhao Liang regretted that he came out alone. He rented a house next to the stone gambling house. The main purpose was to open the raw stone. After buying the raw stone, he had to open it himself. Zhao Liang planned to go to the jade mine to buy the raw stone and open it himself. He did not need to buy the raw stone from the stone gambling house to attract attention. But he did not expect to be targeted. These playboys looked at Zhao Liang as if he was a toy. They let Zhao Liang choose the raw stone and gave him 3 chances. If he chose wrong, his finger would be cut off. If he guessed wrong again, he would be cut off again. Zhao Liang was speechless. Go to hell, Zhao Liang cursed in his heart. These playboys will be dealt with sooner or later, and your family will be bankrupt. But Zhao Liang had to think about his finger. He chose the jade with the best water to make these playboys happy. Zhao Liang felt sullen. He felt that although he had X-ray vision, he was still humiliated by these playboys who had a good family. Sooner or later, he would be taken down by these playboys. Just read a novel. Chapter 2029. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character Counterattacks. Zhao Liang was played like a monkey by these rich second generations. If he didn't find the best jade, he would be punished. Zhao Liang's heart was filled with indignation. He had already thought of countless ways to take revenge on these spoiled brats and punish them. Each of them relied on their family background to do whatever they wanted. Wasn't it just a little background and a little stinky money? No matter how sullen Zhao Liang was, in the hearts of these rich second generations, Zhao Liang wasn't even worth a fart. The bodyguards of these rich second generations held machetes in their hands. If he didn't find the best jade, they would chop off his fingers. Zhao Liang could only use his X-ray vision to check the raw stones in the room. In the end, he found a slightly better jade and let the person who opened the raw stones open it. Not bad, not bad. What's your name again? In the future, you will follow me, young Master Du. There will definitely be benefits for you. A rich second generation with the surname Du said arrogantly. Then he asked, how did you find the best raw stones? This skill made people curious and envious. If they could master this skill, they would be rich. Although these rich second generations didn't lack money, no one would complain about having too much money. Zhao Liang's face turned red. He was so sullen that he wanted to die. If he didn't find the best jade, these people would chop off his hands. He had shown this ability, and now they wanted to ask about his ability. What should he do? Did he have to tell these people that he had a special ability? His X-ray vision? These rich second generations would spread the news everywhere. They might even dig out his eyes. Therefore, he couldn't reveal that he had a special ability. Zhao Liang had wanted to find a bodyguard before, but now that he had just started his career, if he had a bodyguard by his side, it wouldn't be good for him. Zhao Liang was very sensitive in this aspect. Although he was rich, it didn't mean that his dignity was reflected. On the contrary, when he came into contact with people of higher status, their family background would crush him. This made him quite unhappy. Zhao Liang also wanted to invest in movies and enter the entertainment industry. There were many beautiful women in the entertainment industry, and money came quickly. However, all his plans might be destroyed by these rich second generations. Zhao Liang was so angry that he wanted to die. I'm asking you, how did you find the best jade? The rich second generation looked at Zhao Liang's unruly appearance and suddenly sneered. They had many ways to deal with people, regardless of whether they were a man or a woman. Did he think he could ascend to the heavens with just a little ability to distinguish jade? I'm asking you a question. Are you mute? Young Master Du kicked Zhao Liang in the chest. Zhao Liang coughed and covered his chest. His face was red, and his internal organs were in turmoil. He had an impulse to vomit blood. Looking at the fierce, fearless, and murderous faces of the rich second generations, Zhao Liang felt a little guilty. Looking at the shiny machetes, Zhao Liang was really afraid that these people would cut off his fingers. Zhao Liang blushed and said, "This is a secret recipe passed down in my family. I can't tell anyone." Do you think I'm easy to fool? Aren't your parents factory workers? If it's passed down from your ancestors, you wouldn't have been so poor before. For a rich second generation to eat, drink, and have fun, and to do it in an elegant and classy way, their brains worked very quickly. Zhao Liang's lying skills were not enough in front of them. Moreover, there were many people who tried to curry favor with them every day. What kind of evil ideas these people had, they could tell with just one look at their eyes. Don't treat everyone else as a sabi. Zhao Liang's face turned red, white, purple, and green. His face was extremely ugly. He covered his chest and didn't say a word. Do I look so easy to fool? Beat him up. Young Master Du ordered the bodyguards, pick the painful part for me. Hit wherever it hurts. These bodyguards were all retired Special Forces soldiers. They knew the human bones and body tissues very well. Zhao Liang gritted his teeth and let the bodyguard's fists hit his body. With a crack, his arm was dislocated. Zhao Liang lost because he didn't have a family background to protect himself. If he had a strong family background, no one would dare to touch him. But now that he was showing off, it would definitely attract the attention of people with ulterior motives. Zhao Liang was in so much pain that he took a deep breath. He gritted his teeth and said to the rich second generation sitting on the sofa, "I know the chief of the military region. Are you sure you want to be so ruthless?" Zhao Liang had treated the chief of the military region. Now he had no choice but to use his name. He was afraid that one was not enough, so he said, "And Elder Ro, give me the phone. I'll make a call." Zhao Liang felt that the chief of the military region's phone was definitely not so easy to call. Now he called Elder Ro. No matter what, the Ro family had some ability. These second generations would definitely give the Ro family face. Zhao Liang could only hope that the Ro family would be more powerful. He didn't save Elder Ro in vain. The rich second generations looked at each other. They could have fun, but they couldn't let anything happen. If something really happened, it would affect their families. The elders in their families might skin them alive. These rich second generations still had some idea of what to do. The Ro family was not weak. Moreover, the Ro family and the Mo family were connected by marriage. As in-laws, the Ro family climbed up the big tree of the Mo family. They would definitely go further. These second generations thought about it in their hearts and through the phone in front of Zhao Liang. It was just a phone call. If this guy was lying to them, Zhao Liang would be even more miserable. Zhao Liang dragged his dislocated arm and called in pain. He hoped that the person who would answer the phone must be the maid, Xiao Li. The phone was connected. It was Xiao Li who answered the phone. Zhao Liang hurriedly said, "Ask Elder Ro to answer the phone. Hurry up. If Elder Ro answers the phone, I'll give you an imperial green jade." Xiao Li's heart pounded when she answered the phone. Although Xiao Li was a maid, she also worked in a wealthy family. She had seen a lot of good things. Imperial green jade. Imperial green jade was a kind of jade and was extremely rare. Imperial green jade was the best color and the most valuable green jade. It was also known as emerald green and gave people a noble beauty. Imperial green jade referred to a unique color. Imperial green jade was very green and seemed to be flowing with oil. As long as you saw the imperial green jade, you would feel that kind of green. Imperial green jade was the best color. Many jades were priceless because they had imperial green jade. If she had an imperial green jade to take out, she would have a lot of face in front of her friends. And it was just asking Elder Ro to answer the phone. It was too simple. Wait, I'll ask the old man to answer the phone right away. Xiaoli put the phone on the table, turned around and hurried upstairs to call the old man, but she met Ning Shu at the stairs. Ning Shu looked at Xiaoli faintly and asked, "What's the matter?" "It's Zhao Liang who saved the old man. He called and said it was an emergency." Xiaoli said quickly. He was still thinking about his imperial green jade in his heart. Just read a refreshing novel. Chapter 2030. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character counterattack. As long as the old man answers the phone, she can get an imperial green jade. Now that she was blocked, Xiaoli was a little anxious. She was about to miss the imperial green jade. That was the best jade. Even if she didn't wear it, she could still sell it for a lot of money. Xiaoli was very anxious in his heart. "Miss, the next call hasn't been hung up yet. It's for the old man." Xiaoli said again. "Well, I see. Go and make me a cup of coffee. I'll answer the phone." Ning Shu called Xiaoli. "This?" Xiaoli looked at the old man's study and wanted to call him. Ning Shu asked, "What's the matter? I can't answer the phone?" "No, Mississippi." Xiaoli could only go downstairs to grind the coffee for Ning Shu. "It takes time to make coffee." Ning Shu picked up the phone and said, "Who is it?" From the moment the phone rang, Ning Shu used her spiritual power to pay attention to Xiaoli. Seeing that Xiaoli came upstairs, she guessed that he was going to find Grandpa, so she stopped Xiaoli at the stairs. Zhao Liang was anxiously waiting for the phone to ring again. Hearing a clear and cold female voice, Zhao Liang's heart turned cold. Why is Rou Xueqiao answering the phone? If Elder Rou didn't answer the phone, Zhao Liang wasn't sure if Rou Xueqiao would help him. "By the way, why didn't he call you?" "Er's family background is also good." Zhao Liang was so anxious that he actually went to the Rou family to ask for help. Finding a solution, Zhao Liang breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, he wanted to test his position in Rou Xueqiao's heart, so he said painfully, "I'm Zhao Liang. I was kidnapped." "Are you kidding? This kind of joke is not funny." Ning Shu said directly, "Why did you call the Rou family when you were kidnapped?" Zhao Liang's face suddenly turned red. Once again, he was sure that this stinky woman really had no feelings for him. She was a heartless woman. Zhao Liang was so angry that his arms were twisted into a fried dough twist. His face was distorted. Stinky woman, a stinky woman with her nose in the air. Ning Shu did not expect that someone would make a move on Zhao Liang so soon. Zhao Liang's history of making a fortune could not withstand the digging. He suddenly jumped up. Previously, Zhao Liang was very sleepy and had to borrow money from his schoolmates. Now that he suddenly had this ability, it was inevitable that people would be suspicious. Zhao Liang now completely viewed Rou Xueqiao as an enemy. What did he want this kind of woman for? He would become better in the future and make this woman regret it and kneel in front of him to beg him. In order to avoid being angered by Ning Shu to the point of vomiting blood, Zhao Liang immediately hung up the phone and called Yu. However, his phone had been confiscated by these rich second generations, and he did not remember Yuer's phone number. Psychologically speaking, Zhao Liang was a bit of a male chauvinist. If he was asked to remember a woman's phone number, if it was in the past when he was poor and had nothing, he would have loved to have a girlfriend. But now, there were so many women that he didn't care at all. As a result, Zhao Liang couldn't remember Yuer's phone number at all. At such a critical moment, he couldn't remember the phone number of the person who could save his life. Zhao Liang was extremely angry and said to the rich second generations, "Can you give me your phone? I'll make a call." Several rich second generations were already very impatient. "You're playing with me. One moment you say you know the chief, the next moment you say you know Elder Rou, and then you want to make a call. Let me tell you, it's useless no matter how you delay the time. Obediently tell us your secret technique." "I know people from the Yu family. Yu Linger is my girlfriend." "Really?" Zhao Liang quickly said, "If you don't believe me, let me make a call." "Get lost. Do I really look so stupid? Let you play with me again and again." Young Master Du kicked Zhao Liang again. "If you don't tell us the secret today, don't think about leaving." Zhao Liang couldn't bear it anymore. Before, when he dealt with these people, he felt that he could deal with these rich second generations, but these rich second generations were insatiable. What should he do now? Unless it was a last resort, Zhao Liang didn't want to reveal his secret. What if he was caught for research? What if he was imprisoned? His beautiful life had just begun. Give me a call. This is the last call. I'll let you do whatever you want with me. Zhao Liang still wanted to struggle, but young Master Du sneered and threw Zhao Liang's phone on Zhao Liang's body. It hurt when the phone hit Zhao Liang's body. Zhao Liang felt extremely humiliated. One day, he would make these people pay for it. And the families that connived with these rich second generations, none of them were good people. Zhao Liang flipped to Yu Linger's name and called her. On the other end of the phone, it said that the call was in progress. In progress, Zhao Liang was extremely angry. On the other side, Ning Shu was on the phone with Yu Ling. Yu Ling was very happy. The two of them hadn't contacted each other for a while. Yu Ling had a boyfriend, so it was inevitable that she would spend all her time with him. Sister Xue Qiao still called her so late. Ning Shu said, "What kind of person is your boyfriend?" Sister Xue Qiao, let me tell you, Zhao Liang is a very good person. Ning Shu twitched the corner of his mouth. What's so good about that? He has so many close female friends. Can you stand it? What's the difference between us and Zhao Liang? At least Zhao Liang is honest and treats everyone well. If you find a man of equal social status to marry, you will have to stay alone in an empty house after marriage. You still have to fulfill your responsibilities as a wife. What a joke. They don't even fulfill their responsibilities as husbands. What's the point? Yu Linger said directly. Ning Shu was speechless. The wife's name could at least guarantee his rights and interests. Zhao Liang's way of doing things was to dump you just like that. He wouldn't get anything and his rights and interests wouldn't be guaranteed. With power and influence, there were more temptations and more choices. If it was the poor Zhao Liang in the past, he would dare to do this. He had the capital and the confidence. So what if he wasn't loyal? What's this Zhao Liang doing? Ning Shu and Yu Linger talked about this and that. Zhao Liang had asked the Rou family for help, so he would probably ask Yu Linger for help as well. Don't forget that Yu Linger was Zhao Liang's girlfriend. Sister Xue Qiao, why are you paying so much attention to Zhao Liang now? Do you have feelings for him? To be honest, Xue Qiao, if you have taken a liking to Zhao Liang, I won't say anything. After all, we are best friends. Don't let others take advantage of you. Yu Ling said with a smile. Ning Shu was speechless. I have a fiancé. I won't snatch your boyfriend from you. It's just that there are so many women. Can you stand it? Such a proud girl actually compromised. Also, what's this Zhao Liang doing? Is he doing something illegal? Ning Shu had been talking to Yu Ling. The line was busy. He's quite capable. He does everything. What's wrong? Yu Linger asked casually. Sister Xue Qiao, just bear it. I think you've fallen for Zhao Liang. Just read a novel. Chapter 2031. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character Counterattack. Ning Shu was speechless. Who would fall in love with Zhao Liang? To be honest, Zhao Liang was not handsome at all. There were acne marks on his face, and it gave people the impression that his face was dirty and oily. Beauty was in the eye of the beholder. Yu Ling looked at Zhao Liang with the effect of a skin polishing filter. Ning Shu had seen many handsome guys, both ancient and modern. Zhao Liang's ranking in Ning Shu's heart. Ning Shu looked at the time on the phone. They had talked for so long and it was about time. She said, I think he must have offended someone. He called just now and said that someone kidnapped him. I think it's a prank. To be safe, I called you. Really? Yu Ling on the other end of the phone panicked. How is he now? I don't know. He hung up before I could ask. I'm not sure if it's a prank. That's why I called you, Ning Shu said. Sister Xue Qiao, I'm hanging up now. Ning Shu heard Yu Linger's panicked voice over the phone. Ning Shu put down the phone and turned to see Shaoli holding a cup of coffee and looking at her. Miss, it's so late. Can you sleep with coffee? Xiao Li asked reluctantly. She couldn't get the old man to answer the phone. Did she lose her imperial jade? Why did she have to answer the phone? Xiao Li looked at the hung-up phone, and his face was full of disappointment and annoyance. Ning Shu took the cup of coffee from Xiao Li's hand. You know it's late. If it's not someone important, Grandpa has to answer the phone. Grandpa is a light sleeper. If he wakes up, he can't sleep. Don't let Grandpa answer the phone all the time. Yes, Mississippi. I'll remember, Xiao Li stammered. Ning Shu went upstairs with the coffee, leaving Xiao Li stamping his feet. He could only watch as a sum of money floated in front of him, but he couldn't catch it. Ning Shu smirked. She had at least informed Yu Ling about this matter. As for what happened during the time she wasted arguing, she couldn't guarantee. Even if Zhao Liang wanted to ask her for an explanation, it wouldn't make sense. I helped you inform Yu Ling when you were kidnapped. How dare you accuse me and the Rou family of being ungrateful? She didn't know who was targeting Zhao Liang. It probably wouldn't be easy to get rid of them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called Old Master Rou. But she blocked it. Even if she blocked it, she would have helped you call for help. She and Yu Ling talked for more than 10 minutes. As for what happened in the past 10 minutes, God knows. Ever since Zhao Liang got his X-ray vision, his life had been smooth sailing, whether it was his career or his pursuit of women. Now that this kind of thing happened, it was good to let Zhao Liang suffer a little loss. And from today onwards, Zhao Liang would be targeted by a lot of people. Stone gambling was very profitable, otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people involved in this risky business. It was just gambling to get rich overnight. Now that someone had a 90% chance of getting a top-grade jade, it would drive people crazy. Yu Ling got Ning Shu's hint and started to locate Zhao Liang's phone. She led a group of people to the place where Zhao Liang was locked up. Yu Ling and Ning Shu talked for a while, then found the location of Zhao Liang's phone, which wasted some time. When Yu Ling arrived at the place where Zhao Liang was locked up, she found Zhao Liang lying on the ground, curled up like a cooked shrimp. Zhao Liang. Yu Ling hurried over and saw Zhao Liang holding his other hand with one hand, dripping with blood. There was also a broken index finger on the ground. Yu Ling felt like she had been struck by lightning. She quickly called an ambulance. Zhao Liang was in so much pain that his consciousness was blurred. Seeing Yu Ling come, Zhao Liang breathed a sigh of relief, but he was also a little angry. Why did she come so late? What was the use of coming? In order to protect his secret, Zhao Liang endured the pain of losing his finger. Zhao Liang knew that this special ability was hard to come by. It was all he could rely on. He had been calling Yu Ling, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get through. He had completely angered this group of rich second generations, and now his finger was cut off. Zhao Liang was so angry and anxious that he fainted. Yu Ling endured the horror and picked up the finger on the ground. If he didn't lose too much blood, the finger could be reattached, but it wouldn't be as flexible as before. Yu Ling stared at these rich second generations and gritted her teeth. How dare you touch my man? You should have come and taken your man away earlier. Yu Ling, are you going to offend the Du family for such a person? Although Du Xiao felt a little guilty, it had already happened. There was no point in saying more. We have so many people. What can you do to us? They had several people on their side. If Yu Ling wanted to pursue the matter, she would offend several families. Yu Ling sneered and turned around to get into the ambulance. She looked at the unconscious Zhao Liang anxiously. The rich second generations looked at each other. Although they felt a little guilty, they didn't expect this idiot to really be Yu Ling's boyfriend. What kind of taste did Yu Ling have? Would the Yu family really accept such a son-in-law? Yu Ling could only pray that Zhao Liang was fine. If she had come earlier, Zhao Liang might have been fine. Ning Shu woke up with a kick. From the private investigator, he found out that Zhao Liang was in the hospital. The specific situation was that someone had chopped off his finger. Ning Shu chuckled. How could Zhao Liang treat people without fingers? He was originally a dabbler, relying on the advantage of his X-ray vision. Because of this skill, many big shots owed Zhao Liang a favor. No matter what problems Zhao Liang encountered, he could solve them with a knife. It couldn't be helped. After all, he had someone above him. Ning Shu still went to learn about nursing and traditional Chinese medicine every day. He also looked for prescriptions for body weakness. The Mo family should have noticed his actions. Seeing Ning Shu's actions, the client's father nodded in agreement. It was more convenient for a married couple to take care of people. Ning Shu also bought a basket of fruits to visit Zhao Liang. The reason for visiting Zhao Liang was because of her best friend, Yu Ling. Yu Ling slept beside Zhao Liang's bed. Ning Shu saw that Zhao Liang's right index finger was chopped off, but it seemed to have been reattached. He didn't know what kind of person would choose the right hand to chop off fingers. Moreover, it was the index finger that was used more frequently. If the thumb was chopped off, it would be even more inconvenient. Sister Xue Qiao, you're here? Yu Ling rubbed her eyes and thanked Ning Shu when she saw her. Thank you for informing me. Ning Shu shook his head and said, I thought it was a prank. I didn't even get to ask about the situation before he hung up. Fortunately, I called you. Otherwise, Zhao Liang would be in danger. You should go wash up too. Ning Shu put down the basket of fruits and was about to leave. Just read a refreshing novel. Chapter 2032. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character Counterattack. Ning Shu was really afraid that Zhao Liang would think that she had feelings for him after he woke up. That would be a huge misunderstanding. Yu Ling stopped Ning Shu and asked, Sister Xue Qiao, why do you think there are people who don't like Zhao Liang and want to find trouble with him? Perhaps in the hearts of Zhao Liang's women, Zhao Liang was the best man in the world. However, in the eyes of others, Zhao Liang's way of doing things was quite disgraceful. It was normal for those who had a little capital to enjoy the good fortune of having multiple wives. After all, those who controlled most of the society's resources enjoyed money and women. They had more rights to choose. However, Zhao Liang's resources were really, how's his hand? Ning Shu asked softly. It's already reconnected. However, it was reconnected, so it's not as flexible as before. Yu Ling said helplessly. I won't let those guys off. Ning Shu already knew who was the one who attacked Zhao Liang. These people were basically devils who dared to do anything. To put it bluntly, they bullied the weak and feared the strong. They would never offend someone they couldn't afford to offend. Zhao Liang was just an ordinary person. If it weren't for the stone gambling skill, these people wouldn't have noticed Zhao Liang at all. Zhao Liang must have provoked them in some way. They shouldn't have any grudges. Ning Shu said casually. Do you know your boyfriend well? Yu Ling didn't say anything. Ning Shu left the ward and went to learn about nursing. As for how Zhao Liang couldn't accept reality after he woke up, it was none of Ning Shu's business. According to Zhao Liang's stinginess, this matter would definitely be blamed on him and Yu Ling. Ning Shu didn't care, but he didn't know how Yu Ling would endure her boyfriend's hatred. Ning Shu learned about nursing. On the way home, he passed by the ward and saw Yu Ling busying herself. Zhao Liang was lying on the bed with an ashen face. It was obvious that he was angry. Ning Shu's lips twitched. Because of love, Ning Shu really couldn't see what was so good about Zhao Liang that he deserved Yu Ling's money, looks, and talent. Moreover, Yu Ling was also a little selfish. Zhao Liang was injured, but only Yu Ling took care of Zhao Liang. In order to make her presence known to Zhao Liang, she did not inform the other women and took care of Zhao Liang alone. Feeding him, wiping his body, carrying his excrement and urine, she didn't need to be too attentive. No matter what others said about Zhao Liang, Yu Ling wouldn't leave Zhao Liang. Moreover, she wanted to prove to those who were against her that she had made the right choice. Because of love, however, Zhao Liang's love was only about conquering. Conquering a girl that he could only drool over in the past, how could there be any love? Ning Shu snorted and went straight away. She didn't want to get involved in Zhao Liang's affairs. There was no end to it. At that time, he would come to ruin her wedding. When Ning Shu returned home, she found that there were guests in the house. It was a couple in their 40s. When they saw Ning Shu, they smiled. Old Man Ro quickly said to Ning Shu, "Say hello to Uncle Mo and Auntie." Ning Shu thought for a moment and knew that they should be Mo Ming's parents. The man was mature and steady. He had a scholarly aura. The woman was gentle and charming. She was petite and her face was a little pale. She was probably not in good health. Ning Shu smiled and greeted them, "Uncle, Auntie." "Very good. You are a good daughter." Mo Ming's mother looked at Ning Shu with satisfaction and asked, "Have you been studying nursing recently?" Ning Shu nodded. "Yes, I have been studying nursing. I also learned some Chinese medicine from Dr. Wu." "Very good." This time, it was Mo Ming's father who spoke. Old Man Ro Ning Shu said, "Go upstairs." Ning Shu nodded and went upstairs. If he guessed correctly, Mo Ming's parents must be discussing the date of their wedding. In any case, they were going to marry Mo Ming. Not only for the Ro family, but also to get rid of Zhao Liang, who felt that all the beauties in the world had to bow down to him. He didn't believe that Zhao Liang would still pester them after they got married. With the Mo family and the Ro family's power, Zhao Liang wouldn't be able to get anything out of it. During dinner, Old Man Ro announced the date of Ning Shu and Mo Ming's wedding. They would be getting married in half a month. It was the first time in his life that he was going to get married. Moreover, he didn't even have a specific impression of the other party. The delicate and weak Mo Ming rarely appeared in the public eye. Even the people who entrusted him rarely saw Mo Ming. Ning Shu wasn't worried that Mo Ming was ugly at all. His parents were handsome and beautiful. No matter how they mutated, they wouldn't be ugly. Even his weak body could be accepted. As for his appearance, it was ranked behind. In the past half a month, Ning Shu had been preparing for the wedding. The Ro family had also prepared a lot of dowry for her. Ning Shu was almost married to Mo Ming with the Ro family's expectations. In half a month, Zhao Liang's injury shouldn't have healed yet. This way, he wouldn't come to make a scene at her wedding. Moreover, Zhao Liang had no reason to make a scene at her wedding. Half a month passed in a flash. As the marriage between the Ro family and the Mo family, it was still very grand. Ning Shu wore a white wedding dress and entered the luxury car accompanied by her family. There was a man sitting in the car. When he saw Ning Shu, he smiled, revealing a pair of canine teeth. He was very sunny and handsome. Such a healthy Mo Ming? "Hello, sister-in-law. I'm Mo Zhe. I'm here to pick up the bride on behalf of my brother. My brother's health is a little bad. Please take care of him," Mo Zhe said to Ning Shu with a smile. A pair of smiling eyes stared at Ning Shu's face. He didn't miss any expression on Ning Shu's face. Ning Shu didn't have much feelings about whether Mo Ming came to pick up the bride or not. She said directly, "His health is important. The formalities are not important." "Okay, thank you, sister-in-law." Mo Zhe saw that Ning Shu didn't care very much and said with a smile. The car slowly started. A long line of luxury cars almost occupied the entire street. The speed of the car wasn't fast. Ning Shu sat in the car, bored. Her phone rang. It was Yuling. When she picked up, Yuling screamed, "Sister Shuet Xiao, you're getting married and I didn't tell you. What's the meaning of this? Don't you have to take care of your boyfriend? That's why I didn't inform you." Ning Shu said directly. If Yuling knew, it meant that Zhao Liang knew. In order to prevent accidents, Ning Shu had already excluded Yuling. He didn't expect Yuling to know. Ning Shu rubbed her forehead. It would be ugly if she made a scene at the wedding. "Sister-in-law, is there a problem?" Mo Zhe saw that Ning Shu's expression wasn't good. "Tell me, I'll think of a way for you. No one can bully my sister-in-law. Bullying you is equivalent to bullying my brother." Ning Shu raised her eyebrows. She suddenly understood why the Ro family tried so hard to let her marry into the Mo family. Ning Shu very unkindly told Mo Zhe everything. It was easy to get into trouble if this kind of thing was hidden. It was very important to be honest. If she was sneaky, it would be criticized. Just read a novel. Chapter 2033. Falling in love with you. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character Counterattack Ning Shu told Moze everything without missing a single detail. Since they were going to get married, they were going to be a family. It was better to let the Mo family know what was going on than to let them come knocking on their door and embarrass themselves. But there was another possibility, which was to make the Mo family impatient. He just wanted to marry a wife, but it brought so much trouble. Hearing Ning Shu's explanation, Moze asked, "When did this Zhao Liang appear?" In the eyes of these people, Zhao Liang was a nobody. Every social class had its own social circle. People like Moze would not have any contact with Zhao Liang. "He still has feelings for you?" Moze's expression was strange. The corner of his mouth twitched. "Doesn't he know that you already have a fiancé?" Ning Shu said, "You don't know that there is a kind of person in this world who thinks highly of himself. He thinks that every woman will fall in love with him. Even if he already has many women by his side, these women will be dead set on him. All of them will get along with each other like sisters." What kind of weirdo? Moze was speechless. You think this person came back to the wedding to cause trouble? Don't look at weirdos with the eyes of a normal person. Maybe in his heart, I betrayed him. Ning Shu shrugged. "I'm helpless too." "Wait." Moze took out his phone and his fingers quickly tapped on the screen. He was probably texting. Then he put his phone away and said, "I've already told Uncle about these things. You don't have to worry. Since you married into the Mo family, I won't let anyone hurt you. Please take good care of my cousin. My cousin's health is not very good." Ning Shu cracked a smile and said, "I know. Tell me more about this Zhao Liang." When it came to people who were a threat, he had to be prepared. Anyway, the car was very slow and the road was quite boring. Ning Shu told Moze about the recent kidnapping of Zhao Liang. "Sister-in-law, what you're saying is too much of a fantasy. You said that Zhao Liang's family was just an ordinary working family, but how did they suddenly have such power? Du Jun and the others wanted to dig out Zhao Liang's secret, and Yuling Er was actually his girlfriend. Turning into a Mr. Perfect in such a short time, it's very surreal," Moze said as he shook his head. Ning Shu said, "Maybe Zhao Liang had some fortuitous encounter, and Du Jun and the others want to get this fortuitous encounter." Moze propped his head with his fingers and tilted his head to think about something. Finally, he said, "Sister-in-law, today is your wedding day with brother. Let's not talk about such upsetting things." Ning Shu nodded and secretly lifted her strapless wedding dress to prevent it from slipping down. In the hospital, Yulinger knew that her best friend was getting married, so she prepared to go home and prepare for the wedding. She had been taking care of Zhao Liang in the hospital for more than half a month. Zhao Liang probably couldn't accept the fact that he was disabled, so his temper was a little bad. He also complained about Ning Shu and Yulinger. Anyway, he didn't give Yulinger a good look. Yulinger worked hard without complaint, and sometimes she would sleep on the sofa in the ward when she was tired. The proud Yulinger tried to make herself understand Zhao Liang's feelings. She was a little princess at home, but she was so humble in front of Zhao Liang. Zhao Liang looked up and saw Yulinger leaving with her bag. He couldn't help but ask, "Where are you going?" Yulinger had been taking care of him all this time. If Yulinger left, Zhao Liang would be a little uncomfortable, but he couldn't tell his parents at home and make them worry. "I'm going to attend the wedding. If you need anything, you can call the nurse or other girls." When Yulinger mentioned Zhao Liang's confidant, her tone was very sour. But she also knew that this man didn't belong to her alone. She didn't know why she had this mentality, but it seemed to be a matter of course. "Wedding? Whose wedding?" Zhao Liang asked. For Yulinger to attend the wedding, her family must be powerful. Why didn't he receive an invitation? Since he became rich, Zhao Liang could be considered to have squeezed into the upper class. When he attended some high-end banquets, some people would invite Zhao Liang if there were any weddings or funerals. Zhao Liang's face was a little ugly. "You know this person too. Ro Xueqiao is getting married to Mo Ming from the Mo family." Yulinger said, "What did you say? Who's getting married?" Zhao Liang straightened his back and stared straight at Yulinger. His voice was so loud that it scared Yulinger. Yulinger was favored by the heavens and had been taking care of Zhao Liang all this time. However, Zhao Liang only cared about his fingers every day. It wasn't like she was the one who broke his fingers. Why are you so loud? Ro Xueqiao is getting married. Yu Linger said unhappily. My sister Xueqiao is getting married. Why are you so agitated? Zhao Liang directly used his left hand to pull out the infusion needle in his right hand. He lifted the blanket and got off the bed. Yu Linger was shocked and asked, What are you doing? Your body hasn't recovered yet. I'm going to the wedding with you. Zhao Liang gritted his teeth and said. Zhao Liang didn't accept Ro Xueqiao's marriage at all. He hadn't conquered Ro Xueqiao and made her repent for what she had done. Now she was going to throw herself into someone else's arms. No man could tolerate such a thing. Just like Ning Shu said, Zhao Liang now felt that he had been betrayed. Ro Xueqiao was the woman he liked. He loved and hated this woman. If she was living a miserable life, Zhao Liang might not be so persistent. But she was going to marry into the Mo family, and she was going to be beautiful. Zhao Liang felt uncomfortable. He couldn't accept that this woman didn't have any feelings for him at all. The frustration of not being able to conquer this woman had been circling in Zhao Liang's heart, brewing an indescribable feeling of anger and betrayal. But your body isn't good. It's just a wedding. I'm just going to go through the motions. Your body is the most important thing now. The doctor said that if there's a problem with your wound, your fingers will really be crippled. Yu Linger persuaded Zhao Liang earnestly as she looked at her watch. Zhao Liang hated it when people questioned him, especially when his fingers were mentioned. When Yu Linger said that, he felt that Yu Linger looked down on his hand and thought that he was useless. My body is still unclear. Can't I attend the wedding? Zhao Liang said angrily. Yu Linger frowned and guessed a possibility. She asked, Zhao Liang, do you like Sister Xueqiao? Is that why you're so excited when Sister Xueqiao is getting married? You don't even care about your own health. Zhao Liang laughed coldly. I don't like your sister Xueqiao. I have something to do. Just read a novel. Chapter 2034. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character counterattack anyway. Zhao Liang couldn't accept letting Ruxuikyo marry someone else peacefully. Yu Linger had a bad feeling in her heart. Zhao Liang, Sister Xueqiao and I have been friends since we were young. I don't want anything to happen to you because of your friend's wedding. You should rest well. Yu Linger was afraid that there would be no end to this and hurriedly left. Zhao Liang sneered. Could it be that he couldn't go alone? Zhao Liang made a phone call. Not long after, a stylist came to the hospital to do Zhao Liang's hair. However, Zhao Liang's hand was injured. When he was wearing clothes, he couldn't touch the wound. A man needs clothes and a Buddha relies on gold. After this, Zhao Liang looked a little better. He left the hospital, got into a luxury car, and went to Mo's house. In addition to Zhao Liang, there were a few bodyguards wearing sunglasses in the luxury car. Last time, he was caught by those rich second generations because he was unprepared. The price he paid was the loss of a finger. Fortunately, the secret was kept, and he could still continue to develop. Zhao Liang's face was gloomy. Although Yu Linger said that Ruxuikyo had called Yu Linger to save him, Zhao Liang still didn't mind answering the call. Ruxuikyo said, You were kidnapped. Why are you calling the Ro family? That arrogant tone made people want to rape her and see how arrogant she was. Zhao Liang checked the man Ruxuikyo was going to marry. He was actually a sickly person. She chose the sickly person over him. Wasn't it because she liked the Mu family? What a vain woman. The wedding convoy slowly drove to the Mo family's entrance. The entrance was blocked. Mo Zhe got out of the car first and ran to the other side to open the door for Ning Shu. Ning Shu was about to get out of the car when a hand reached in front of her. This hand was very white and very thin. It was almost wrapped in a layer of bones. The joints were a little scary. This should be Mo Ming's hand. Ning Shu raised her hand and placed it on this hand. Through the wedding gloves, Ning Shu could feel that this hand was a little cold. Ning Shu got out of the car and looked at the owner of this hand. Mo Ming was thinner than Ning Shu had imagined. His skin was sickly pale and his facial features were handsome. He was very quiet and gave off a gentle feeling. Mo Ming saw his future wife staring at him. Ning Shu nodded. His attitude towards Ning Shu wasn't that warm. However, he was waiting outside for Ning Shu. It wasn't that he was neglecting her. It seemed that Mo Ming wasn't very happy about the marriage. The two of them walked into the villa hand in hand. Ning Shu walked very slowly, mainly because she was worried about the person beside her. She felt that Mo Ming was a little out of breath. From the corner of her eyes, she saw Mo Ming tightly pursing his pale lips. He was probably holding on. His body was very weak. Because Mo Ming's body wasn't very good, everyone knew not to make a fuss. The whole wedding was a little quiet. Everyone just looked at Ning Shu and Mo Ming silently. Ning Shu was worried that Mo Ming wouldn't be able to walk to the room. She might even have to princess carry Mo Ming back to the room. That would be speechless. Mo Ming probably stood outside for too long and his body couldn't take it anymore. Wait a minute. A discordant voice sounded. Ning Shu's heart didn't waver. She knew this would happen. She turned and looked at Zhao Liang, who was in a suit. He still appeared. She knew that Zhao Liang wasn't satisfied. Ning Shu saw Zhao Liang's expression. If she didn't know, she would think that she had hurt him. It was just that his desire to conquer was not satisfied. Ning Shu went closer to Mo Ming, who was frowning, and said, "Don't be anxious. Just take it as a good show." Ning Shu was really afraid that Mo Ming would fall to the ground like in the plot. Of course, it was probably because Mo Ming's body couldn't take it anymore. Ning Shu said to the wedding waiter, "Please give me a chair." Although the waiter was a little surprised, he still brought a white chair over. Ning Shu easily took the chair and placed it behind Mo Ming. He said, "Sit down and rest for a while." When the time came, if Mo Ming's body couldn't take it anymore and fell, even if the Mo family didn't have any opinions about her, the people who came to the wedding would talk about it. Gossip was what people liked to gossip the most. Mo Ming didn't say anything and sat down. His body was indeed a little tired. Also, who was this person who suddenly appeared? Mo Ming's body wasn't very good. He didn't pay much attention to the situation outside, especially to someone like Zhao Liang who suddenly appeared. Zhao Liang saw that Ning Shu didn't care and was very unhappy. He sneered and walked in. The surrounding people came to watch the show. Even if he couldn't do anything to Rou Xueqiao, he had to make Rou Xueqiao's life in the Mo family difficult. Before Zhao Liang could speak, Ning Shu spoke first. "Where's Yu Er? Why didn't you come with Yu Er?" Zhao Liang choked and said in a low voice, "Are you sure you want to marry such a sick person?" Zhao Liang looked at Mo Ming who was sitting on the chair. Because of his good family, Mo Ming was gentle and looked very educated. However, no matter what, he was still a person with an unhealthy body. Zhao Liang used his X-ray vision to see that Mo Ming's internal organs were deteriorating to different degrees. Mo Ming was more or less waiting for death. "You're really vain," Zhao Liang said disdainfully. If a woman chose a man who was better than another man, the man would angrily accuse the woman of being vain because he was incompetent. Ning Shu had a face of confusion. "Where's your girlfriend, Yu Ling?" He already had a girlfriend, but he still looked like he wanted to save her. Go to the entertainment center to save her. There were too many girls who had fallen. The surrounding people were confused. Ning Shu said again, "Didn't someone chop off your finger? Why aren't you recuperating in the hospital? Didn't I tell you that your girlfriend doesn't have to come to the wedding?" Ning Shu kept emphasizing the word girlfriend. How could he have the nerve to act like he was hurt? His finger was chopped off? Only if he had offended someone would he be treated like this. Everyone looked at Zhao Liang's bandaged finger. Zhao Liang was unusually irritated. He put his hand behind his back, not letting these people see his crippled finger. Everyone here had a strong background. Since the Mo family was holding a wedding, they would definitely invite people from the upper class. These people looked at Zhao Liang at the same time. It was as if a mountain was pressing down on Zhao Liang's body. Zhao Liang almost couldn't bear it. Zhao Liang, who had suddenly become rich, still felt weak facing these people. He also felt that these people were looking down on him. Seeing Zhao Liang's face turn red, Ning Shu felt that if he didn't come, these things wouldn't have happened. Now, he felt that others had insulted him. Feeling that you're always right, Ning Shu said again, "You came with you heir or alone? I'll be thick-skinned and ask you for a congratulatory gift. At the same time, I'll also thank you for coming to my wedding. Just read a refreshing novel." Chapter 2035. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. How thick-skinned. Who would ask for a gift? She betrayed him and still wanted a gift. Zhao Liang's face turned green. He was here to cause trouble, not to attend the wedding banquet. Ning Shu continued, "You is my best friend. We grew up together. I hope you can treat you well from time to time. Don't mess around with other girls. Just treat a girl well. In my opinion, you should break up with you. Although I don't know what's so good about you, you're you's boyfriend. I can't say anything." Everyone understood the message in Ning Shu's words. This brat was actually the boyfriend of the Yu family's youngest daughter. Moreover, he was a playboy with more than one girlfriend. He really knew how to play. He dared to treat the Yu family's daughter like this. Wasn't he afraid that the Yu family would be unhappy with him? Most people didn't know who this person was. He was so rude and had no manners at all. You ungrateful woman." Zhao Liang felt the gazes of the people around him. He pointed at Ning Shu in exasperation. He was originally full of vigor, but now he was like a balloon that was punctured by a needle, leaking air. He didn't expect the arrogant Rou Xueqiao to be so talkative, blabbering non-stop, exposing his matters. At this time, even if he said that the two of them had an affair, people would only think that he was a toad wanting to eat swan meat. He had Yuling air and was still thinking about Rou Xueqiao. He was shameless. Moreover, he wasn't that good-looking. People of the same sex looked at people of the same sex harshly. When men looked at Zhao Liang, they felt that the arrogant Yuling heir actually fell for such a man. Of course, the person who chose the main character would prove that he was the right choice. Zhao Liang was like most men. He wasn't good with words. After being nagged by Ning Shu, he really couldn't bring himself to quarrel with Ning Shu. Feeling the gazes of the people around him, his face turned green. "Sister-in-law, this is the Zhao Liang you were talking about." Mo stood up and looked Zhao Liang up and down. Zhao Liang felt a little embarrassed. He felt that this person was looking at him with contempt and disdain. "Hey Zhao Liang, why are you here?" Yuling walked over with a glass of red wine in her hand when she saw that everyone was blocking the way. Even though she was attending her best friend's wedding, Yuling was not happy at all. She did not know if she would ever be able to wear a wedding dress and walk into the hall of love with the person she loved. However, Zhao Liang was a sentimental person who liked to collect beautiful women. She was not the only one, nor would she be the last. Don't all women desire to be the only one, to be able to completely own someone? Furthermore, Yuling saw that the person's sister Xueqiao was going to marry was not bad. The only flaw was that his body was not very good. As a disciple of the Mo family, there was no need to worry about food or clothing. Sister Xueqiao could be considered to have found a home. There was no such thing as perfection in this world. Although Zhao Liang was a healthy person, he was sentimental. Furthermore, she felt that Zhao Liang seemed to be drooling over Rou Xueqiao. Rou Xueqiao's temperament and beauty were famous in their circle. According to Zhao Liang's sentimental nature, it was normal for him to have feelings for Rou Xueqiao. Yuling's heart was sour, but she accepted it. She could only comfort herself that the two of them could work together to deal with other women. Yuling forced herself to accept such a ridiculous thought. Then she accepted it, and finally she accepted it. Yuling did not expect Zhao Liang to come and cause trouble at the wedding. He was obviously here to cause trouble. She quickly went over and asked, "Why are you here? Your wound can't get infected." Could she not mention it in front of him? Previously, he had been laughed at. Now that Yuling mentioned it again, Zhao Liang was very unhappy. He had seen the looks in these people's eyes clearly. It was as if he was the one who was climbing up Yu Ling-er's social status. However, he would also create a wealthy family in the future. He would definitely not be inferior to the Yu family. Now, Zhao Liang was taking his anger out on Yu Ling. Yu Ling-er's eyes were a little red. She felt that ever since Zhao Liang was injured and frustrated, his temper had become worse. Ning Shu said, "Yu Ling, thank you for coming to my wedding. You have to be happy too." Ning Shu passed the bouquet in his hand to Yu Ling-er and hugged her. "I hope to be able to attend your wedding soon." Yu Ling-er held the bouquet. Ning Shu smiled and said, "Sister Xue Xiao, thank you." Yu Ling-er pulled Zhao Liang and wanted to pull him away. Yu Ling-er's stubbornness came up again. She kept feeling wronged when she was with Zhao Liang. She asked, "Do you want to marry me?" Zhao Liang was speechless. Zhao Liang, who had died before he could succeed, turned around and left. Mo Zhe arranged for security to not let Zhao Liang in again. What did he think the Mo family was? Any random cat or dog could bark at them. Did he think that they were easy to bully? After leaving the Mo family, Yu Ling-er directly threw the bouquet into the bin. She turned around and said to Zhao Liang, "I advise you to give up. Sister Xue Xiao is already married." Zhao Liang ignored Yu Ling. Yu Ling-er stomped her feet and asked directly, "Zhao Liang, what do you mean? Do you want to break up?" "I'm not worthy of the Yu family. Let's break up." Zhao Liang did not want to be suppressed by the Yu family all day long. Moreover, there were so many girls. Zhao Liang did not have the time to coax a rich young lady. Zhao Liang had many choices. He did not care about a woman at all. Because he had the capital, he did not care about gains and losses. He was not afraid of losing at all. Zhao Liang was very angry with Yu Ling. He thought that Yu Ling-er should persuade her best friend not to marry that sickly person. There was no happiness at all. But Yu Ling-er was indifferent. Zhao Liang sat in the car. The bodyguard closed the door and blocked Yu Ling-er outside. Zhao Liang felt that his finger was a little red and swollen. He hurriedly said to the driver, "Go to the hospital now." The abnormality of his finger was like a bucket of ice water poured on Zhao Liang's body. He did not want to lose a finger. Even if it was not very flexible, at least he had all 10 fingers. When they arrived at the hospital, Zhao Liang hurriedly looked for the doctor. The doctor said that the wound was infected. If it continued to be infected, the stitches would be removed. The finger could not be reconnected. Zhao Liang didn't dare to make a fuss anymore. It was related to his fingers. He didn't want people to say that he was a 9-fingered man in the future. No matter how great his achievements were in the future, with such a flaw, it could become a flaw that others would attack and laugh at. When he recovered in the future, he would definitely teach that woman and the Mo family a lesson. Today's humiliation would be returned tenfold in the future. After the farce was over, Ning Shu and Mo Ming were sent to the new room. Then the others closed the door. There were only 2 people in the room. It was very quiet. Just read a refreshing novel. Chapter 2036. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. The 2 of them sat by the bed and didn't speak. Ning Shu looked at Mo Ming's body. If he really pounced on him, Mo Ming probably wouldn't even have half a life left. You first? Mo Ming's voice was a little weak as he looked at Ning Shu. Ning Shu asked, "Do you want to drink water? I'll get you a cup of water." "Thank you." Mo Ming nodded. He probably felt a little uncomfortable. His face was a little pale and his brows were tightly knitted. Ning Shu stood up and poured a cup of warm water for Mo Ming from the kettle on the coffee table. Mo Ming took the cup and drank 2 mouthfuls. Ning Shu sat beside Mo Ming and said, "I need to explain today's matter to you." Fortunately, Mo Ming didn't directly collapse. Otherwise, the Mo family would hate her to death. Mo Ming held the cup. The veins on the back of his pale hand bulged. Because he was too thin, the veins bulged. Ning Shu had seen such a pale hand before. Even though the hand of an abyssal prefect was pale, it was like a hand stretched out from a manga. There were no bones as prominent as Mo Ming's. "Speak." Mo Ming said softly. At the wedding, I had to take the initiative. Otherwise, Zhao Liang would slander me for having an affair with him. At that time, the Mo family and the Rou family would lose face. She was too active at the wedding. It wasn't her turn as a newlywed wife to jump up and down. You did the right thing. Mo Ming said, I don't blame you. Moreover, my body is really not good. Ning Shu saw that Mo Ming didn't care. He immediately smiled and said, What's wrong with the body? Take your time to recover. She had a terminal illness when she was alive. Didn't she struggle at death's door for so many years? I learned nursing. I can take good care of you in the future. Ning Shu saw that Mo Ming didn't drink water. He took the cup in his hand and placed it on the small coffee table. Do you want to take a bath? Ning Shu grabbed the rose petals on the bed and put them aside. He began to tidy the bed. Can I ask you something? Mo Ming looked at Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded. Go ahead. Why are you willing to marry me? Mo Ming asked. Ning Shu suddenly smiled. I thought you would ask me if I had an affair with Zhao Liang. We are engaged. If I don't marry you, who else can I marry? Ning Shu said, You just need to take care of your body. Besides, you're a member of the Mo family. You're handsome and rich. Other than your body, everything else about you is fine. Mo Ming remained silent and stood up. I'm going to take a shower. Call me if you need anything. When Mo Ming went to take a shower, Ning Shu went to the cloakroom to change out of the wedding dress and put on comfortable and casual clothes. Then he waited at the door of the bathroom. What if something happened to Mo Ming? She would just treat it as taking care of a child. When Mo Ming came out, he was wearing a bathrobe. The part of his chest that was exposed was very thin. Do you want to take a shower? Go in. Mo Ming turned sideways to let Ning Shu in. Ning Shu nodded. When Ning Shu came out of the shower, Mo Ming had already fallen asleep on the bed. His brows were furrowed in his sleep. Ning Shu reached out and touched Mo Ming's head. It was a little hot. Ning Shu immediately went downstairs to look for his in-laws and told them that Mo Ming had a fever. The Mo family had a resident specialist doctor. Immediately, the new room became a ward. There were doctors and nurses inside. Mo Ming's mother was a little embarrassed and said to Ning Shu, Mo Ming must have stood under the sun for too long and caught the wind. If something like this happened on their wedding night, no woman would be able to take it. Mo Ming's mother only hoped that her daughter-in-law would not make a fuss at this time. Ning Shu nodded. He was already prepared for this. After working until dawn, Missouri Ming's condition finally stabilized. After everyone left, Ning Shu closed the door and lay beside Mo Ming. Mo Ming had not woken up. There was an 4 drip by the bed. TSK, poor child. He was on a saline drip on his wedding night. Ning Shu pressed his finger on Mo Ming's wrist and felt his pulse. Mo Ming's body was extremely weak. A slight cold could be a disaster for Mo Ming. He was so weak. He had been carefully taken care of to survive until now. His body was like a broken water tank. It could not hold water at all. No matter how much water was poured into it, the holes in his body would take away his vitality. A broken body. The human body was really a magical existence. It seemed that it was not easy to nurse Mo Ming's body back to health. His internal organs were starting to fail. Mo Ming's digestive ability might not be good. Ordinary people could eat anything. Mo Ming could only eat a little liquid food or even in 4 drip to maintain his physiological functions. The situation was more serious than she had imagined. No wonder in the plot, Mo Ming collapsed and died not long after. His body had reached its limit. Ning Shu transferred a strand of spiritual energy that was thinner than a strand of hair into Mo Ming's body. This spiritual energy was all that Ning Shu had obtained during this period of time. Moreover, she had found a quiet and secluded place in the park and removed all kinds of impurities. Only then was she able to obtain such a small amount of spiritual energy. From tomorrow onwards, he would cook medicinal food for Mo Ming. Of course, it had to be cooked to a pulp. Otherwise, it would not be easy to digest. Ning Shu yawned and closed his eyes to rest for a while. When there was movement in the villa in the morning, Ning Shu washed up and prepared to go downstairs to meet the elders. When Ning Shu went downstairs, his father-in-law was reading the newspaper. His mother-in-law asked the servants to make breakfast. When she saw Ning Shu, she asked, "Why didn't you rest more? You woke up so early." "It's the first morning. I woke up early to say hello to Mom and Dad," Ning Shu said. Since he was married, he had to maintain a good relationship with his mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. It was the most torturous thing for a sick person to have no one at home. His mother-in-law immediately smiled. Everyone liked polite people. His mother-in-law gave Ning Shu a set of jewelry. It looked very expensive and retro. It was probably worth a lot of money. His father-in-law directly gave him a card and said that he could buy whatever he needed. "Ning Shu, I like it." Ning Shu walked into the kitchen and saw that the breakfast was divided into 2 portions. Mo Ming's mother explained, "One portion is for us. The other portion is for Mo Ming. He can't eat things that are too hard, too greasy, or too harmful to his stomach." Ning Shu said, "Oh, I will take good care of Mo Ming in the future." Mo Ming's mother smiled. There was a hint of melancholy in her smile. Her son's health really made her worry. Mo Ming's mother felt that if her son passed away one day, she would have no support and might follow him. "Why are you up?" Mo Ming's father saw his son coming downstairs. He quickly put down the newspaper and went to help him. Mo Ming looked around and asked, "Where's Ruxwikyo?" Ning Shu came out of the kitchen and saw Mo Ming. He said, "I'm here." Mo Ming woke up and saw that there was no one beside him. He remembered that it was the first day of their marriage and he could not let her meet her in-laws alone. Just read a novel. Chapter 2037. Mo Ming, who had just woken up, had a sickly blush on his face. His face was very thin and his eyes were lifeless. When he saw Ning Shu coming out of the kitchen, he asked, "Why didn't you call me?" "I saw that you weren't feeling well, so I didn't call you. You woke up so suddenly. Can your body take it?" "It's okay." The sickly blush on Mo Ming's face started to fade. Without the blush, his face was very pale and a little transparent. Yes, he was so pale that he looked like a bolt of lightning. He was so thin that he looked like a bolt of lightning. Mo Ming and his father-in-law sat on the sofa. The two of them were talking about something. Ning Shu poured a cup of warm water for Mo Ming. It was healthy to drink a cup of water in the morning. Mo Ming took the cup. "Thank you." Mo Ming looked at Ning Shu standing at the side and said calmly, "Sit down. You don't have to stand." Ning Shu sat on the sofa and watched Mo Ming drink the water. Mo Ming's father looked at his son and daughter-in-law and said, "The flowers in the garden are blooming quite well. You can go out and take a look when you're free." Ning Shu asked, "Isn't Mo Ming allergic to pollen?" With Mo Ming's weak body, he should be allergic. The father-in-law smiled and said, "There are no flowers in the garden that he's allergic to." All right, if Mo Ming was really allergic to some flowers and planted them in front of his house, wouldn't that be killing him for money? Mo Ming put down the cup and said to Ning Shu, "You can go and pick any flowers that you like." "Thank you." Ning Shu smiled slightly. She had a more important task. Picking flowers or something like that. After the task was over, she might be able to plant flowers or something like that. The Mo family's villa was very big. This villa was where the family of 3 lived. The rest of the Mo family had their own residences. During festivals or when something big happened, they would gather at the ancestral house. Other than his parents-in-law, Ning Shu had only seen Mo Ming's cousin, Mo Zhe. It was probably because Mo Ming's body wasn't good that the elders and relatives didn't ask him to recognize him. "It's time to eat." Mo Ming's mother walked over and reached out to help her son. Ning Shu helped her and helped Mo Ming to the dining table. During the wedding ceremony yesterday, Mo Ming stood at the door for a long time and walked for a long distance. During that time, Zhao Liang's incident happened. His body couldn't take it last night and he was very weak now. Mo Ming sat down and Ning Shu sat next to him. Mo Ming was eating something different. Ning Shu took a look and saw that it was a medicinal diet. In other words, Mo Ming had been eating medicinal diet, but it was useless. Indeed, the body was like a large water tank with many holes. No matter how much water was poured into it, it was useless. The main thing was to repair the body. However, they couldn't find a way to block the hole, so they could only desperately pour water in. If Mo Ming had lived in an ordinary family, he would have died a long time ago. Mo Ming used a spoon to take small bites of the medicinal cuisine. He chewed and swallowed slowly and calmly. Ning Shu understood Mo Ming's current state. He lived one day at a time and accepted this fate. In the beginning, he was in despair and pain. There was also deep resentment. He felt that there were so many people in the world, but why did he have to suffer such pain? If his mentality wasn't stable at this time, it was easy for him to have the mentality of taking revenge on society. Why did he have to suffer such pain? From the beginning to the later acceptance, he completely calmed down. This was because there was no use in making a fuss and crying. On the contrary, intense emotional changes would only cause him to die faster. Ning Shu felt that Mo Ming was like himself, who was lying on the hospital bed when he was alive. He didn't know why he was alive, but he just wanted to live. He didn't have a specific goal, but he still wanted to live. Mo Ming chewed slowly and turned to see Ning Shu staring at him. He asked, "It's not to my taste." "No, it's delicious." Ning Shu bit on the sandwich and drank the warm milk. Mo Ming probably hadn't even tasted a sandwich before. Mo Ming ate a small bowl of medicinal cuisine and actually asked for half a bowl. Although half a bowl wasn't much, Mo Ming's mother was so happy that she almost cried. It was so serious last night. She thought that her son might have passed away after getting married. Could it be that it worked? Mo Ming's mother scooped half a bowl of invitation for her son and gave Ning Shu a piece of toast. She said, "Eat more? It's been hard on you to take care of Mo Ming." "Thank you, Mom." Ning Shu thanked her with a smile. The atmosphere during breakfast was very harmonious. Mo Ming's father went to work after eating. Mo Ming's mother stood up and tidied his tie. She whispered, "Be careful on the road. Drive slowly." "I know." Mo Ming's father smiled. He gave people a feeling of elegance and elegance. It felt that Mo Ming and his son were quite similar. If Mo Ming didn't have this illness, he would also be a handsome man. Mo Ming's mother sent her husband to the door. Ning Shu went close to Mo Ming and said, "I'll show you something good later." Ning Shu was in a good mood. It was good that she was willing to cooperate. It was time to show her ability. After breakfast, Ning Shu helped Mo Ming upstairs. "Shuaqiao, wait. I have something to tell you." "Wait." Ning Shu went downstairs and asked his mother-in-law, "Mom, what's the matter?" "You and Mo Ming are husband and wife. Husband and wife have to live together as husband and wife. But Mo Ming's health is really not good." Mo Ming's mother was helpless. Ning Shu nodded. "I understand. Mom, don't worry. Mo Ming's health is important." Mo Ming's mother held Ning Shu's hand. There were tears in her eyes. She took a deep breath and said, "Actually, I know that this is unfair to you. But I don't want Mo Ming to have any regrets. He has a wife and a complete life. When Mo Ming passes away, you can remarry. I will marry you off like a daughter and give you a dowry." Ning Shu was speechless. "Thank you, Mo. I understand. I will take good care of Mo Ming. In the future, Mo Ming will be filial to you and take care of you when you are old." Ning Shu said. The Mo family was kind. They basically said that they would give Mo Ming a complete life before he died. Even if he was unhappy, he had to bear with it. Bear with it until Mo Ming died. There would be benefits. Mo Ming's mother's tone became lighter. Ning Shu turned and went upstairs. He saw Mo Ming standing at the stairs waiting for him. He went over to help Mo Ming. "What did Mom say to you?" Mo Ming's voice was light and weak. Ning Shu smiled and said, "Mom told me not to disturb you. Your health is not good." Mo Ming's body trembled. He said, "Actually, you don't have to marry me." It was his mother who had been begging him to marry her. He was already in this state. Why should he implicate another person? Ning Shu said directly, "I'm willing to marry you. And I'm not at a disadvantage." You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.